Oh no, please, please.
I was going to say, I think in between all the noise on X, there is some golden nuggets of information from the right people, and it's just finding those bits of information. And I think a couple of posts, and again, I can't remember where I saw them, but someone basically said sometimes the best trade is no trade, and I think that is something that people need to realize, that this cyclical thing that we've got going on Solana at the moment, where we're just chasing new launches continually and going round and round in circles. And I don't know if you've seen the chart recently with the amount of online traders there are at the moment on Sol. It's like all-time lows nearly. So it's just the same people spinning the same sort of narratives, chasing each other's gains back to like the same wallet. So like, I'll lose $100 one day to guy X, and then the next day I take it back from him, and it's just this like it just feels at the moment a little bit pointless. So that's maybe 3 or 4 days ago. I was like, you know what, like December's coming up, I've got kids, I've got family, like I'm busy all the time, I've been staring. That's exactly the chart I was looking at. You're a genius. But I've got kids, I've got family. Like I've spent the last 18 months online staring at charts, always on my phone, like for good reason, trying to improve my life, trying to improve the life of my family and my kids and all that sort of stuff. But I think if look at that, it's outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen we've seen the pump fund ROI, how like a ton of the coins don't really like reach an all-time high more after an hour of being live. Like most of them just die. We've seen these charts before as well. Volume and traders on Solana are going down. I look at this and I'm like, I know I've been continuing to lock in like these last 6-8 months, like kind of enduring this downtrend. But what if this is a bottom signal? Have you ever like thought to yourself like, can it get much lower than it is now?
I mean, that is a very good point. It's like when the coin that shall not be named was popping off, I managed to sort of like, at work, I was like spoke to a lot of like in real life friends and the guys at work and stuff, and I was talking about crypto, and they were like keen to get on board. They were downloading like Phantom Wallet, they were money on chain, and they were buying that particular coin, and everyone was seeing gains and it was exciting and happy. They got burnt just like we all did, and it's that same old story now. It's like at that time I even said to myself, I remember coming home and speaking to my wife, and I was like, man, like this is a top signal in crypto. Like regular people like absolutely clawing at trying to get online, and I was like, I need to like sell some. I've made this mistake before. Here we go. Like it's literally happening in front of my eyes. Like people are texting me and on WhatsApp and stuff like, how do I get on? I heard you like do crypto, and I heard it's like AI coins are popping off or whatever. So yeah, I mean, is this a bottom signal? I don't know. From the very small pool of people that I speak to in real life that have traded crypto, the vast majority of them are like, I'm not touching that thing ever again. All that's ever happened is I've lost money. So I don't know. I mean, again, that is a very small sample size, and I wouldn't like to base the rest of the world's decisions on like 12 people, but it doesn't seem at the moment that there's much appetite for coming back on chain and losing money,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I man, that's crazy, because I thought the same thing in like Q1. Remember that video that was going around with like Frank D Gods, and it was one of the popular streamers, what's his name? Aiden Ross.
Yes.
And Aiden was like, wait, who's bigger than the US president that launched the token? Like, who's bigger than him? And I was like, dang, I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good point. It's a top signal. But like, I mean, I'm gonna stay though.
Mate, I remember lying in bed when Trump coin launched, and I was like watching if you go on down, I nearly mentioned the name of that coin. If you look at the chart of that coin from I don't even know what mil, but like maybe 16 mil all the way to like 3 mil. And I was like in bed, my missus was sat next to me, and I'm like watching my phone, like my Phantom Wallet, and it's just like depleting, like going down. And I'm like, oh my God, I've done it again. I have done it again. So I just like turned my phone off. Luckily, I woke up in the morning and it was pretty much, it recovered to kind of back where it was. But at that time, again, it should have been so obvious that Trump launched a coin, is Melania, however you pronounce it. She launched a coin. Like that was the exit signal, wasn't it? Really.
Man, I mean, there was looking back, there's so many signals. We saw
Yeah.
the TikTok guys,
Mm,
we saw the Gen Z starting to pick it up.
yeah.
Um, and I'm just like, man, this is all top signals, but you know, I
It
guess
keeps you coming back, though. It keeps you coming
yeah,
back. Like the addiction is so real, and the addiction, I think, as well for me, like especially when you're winning with a group of people that like as silly as it sounds, and you guys and your audience will understand this because we're all living the same life, but like your online friends that you've made, like you care for those guys a lot. Like you spend a lot of time speaking to them, a lot of time doing research, a lot of time bouncing ideas off each other, and like if you're all in on the same coin, like that addiction of you and all of the people that you like care about, that you like, that you want to win, all them winning as well, there's nothing better. There's the reason why all those memes exist of all the guys like hugging each other with the green candles behind them. Like
yeah,
it's an addiction.
yeah. It's all dopamine, man. At the end of the day, it's all
Mm,
dopamine. Um, I mean, I guess the question I had was kind of going back to our discussion, like kind of where we were in time. You're now coming on to Solana.
yeah,
You're going through Q4, Q1. You're
yeah.
enjoying yourself. What were some of the biggest gains you enjoyed from Q4? Just
Oh,
reminisce for a sec.
yeah. Oh man. Well, the coin that shall not be named. I think it was like December 23rd or something last year, so nearly a year ago. That I full ported at that time a very small portfolio into that coin, and I think it was maybe 100 to 200k at the time, and it ran to 20 mil. And I had, I don't know, maybe 7-8 million tokens or something. So that was like $100,000 worth right there. Um,
Jeez.
I hasten I hasten to add, I didn't cash all of that out because it's crypto, and why would you take all life-changing money? Why would you do that? Um,
Right.
you know, yeah. Why would you take life-changing money and never come back? I can't. What was it, Sora as well? I think I put like crazy. I was telling the guys at work about this the other day because we were just talking about like insane fumbles. Put something like 4 grand into Sora when going to bed. Woke up and it was 40k. I was like, what the hell
Dang,
has just happened? Just insane. Like, bring that back.
dude, like please. I mean, I'm looking like I remember for me, I got Griffane at 1 mil market cap
Oh my god.
in Q4. Like, and
Yeah.
honestly, bro, I didn't know what it was. I was also what I was trying to do was, and I don't know if you did the same thing, probably not from what I'm hearing. I did
Mm,
both. I tried to do Solana and ETH. Like I
okay.
know I was trying to treat ETH like the utility chain,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
where all the value is being created, and then Solana just to kind of like gamble high risk
Yeah.
bets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it worked out because I caught Popcat at 1 mil.
Oh man. Yeah.
I caught like when lock in and some of these others like where like 4 mil went to 90. So like
Dude, lock in. God, like honestly, like I know we have everyone says like I saw that at like whatever market cap, and it means nothing because I didn't buy it. But like that's one of the ones that I even like. That meme is awesome, and I saw it
yeah.
low, and I'm like, oh God, I wish I had, it was like that, you know.
And I guess for me, like I've been having this thought, and maybe you had the same one about like the historical trends in crypto like haven't really like held up at all. The
Mm,
historical trends, like the historical trend is, hey, when Bitcoin goes up, all altcoins go up, but that hasn't
yeah.
been the case, right?
No. Yeah.
The historical trend has been, Bitcoin only makes an all-time high after the halving. We saw it happen
Mm,
before the halving.
yeah.
But like, there's so many things that just kind of are historically just out of whack right now. And
Mm,
I wish coming into this space that I didn't take everyone's advice of altcoin season's coming, just like buy and
yeah.
hold.
I got to be honest. Like one of the things that has really allowed me to do so well in the last 3 months in particular, like that is just changing my outlook on trading in general and just kind of running my own race. Before it's so easy to get involved in everyone else's decisions, and people are posting stuff trying to trying to boost their own following, trying to build their profile, build their brand, and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of information out there to be digested every day, and we've all fallen into that trap of like selling because someone else sold, or following wallets and you see that that wallet is sold, so you sell, and then it just all goes wrong. So I've made all those mistakes, and after getting slapped by the coin that shall not be named, I kind of just had this epiphany where I was like, what am I doing? Like, I had a bad feeling about it. I didn't act upon that, so I lost more money than I should. And I think that change in perspective, that change in attitude was like, you know what, from now on, I'm just going to do me. Like, I deleted all the wallets that I was following. I don't like copy trade anyone anymore. I had, spent a good amount of time, as everyone does on chain, like seeing transactions and being like, oh, I think that's that person. Then you go back through their feed, see what coins they're into. All of them match up on, the wallet that you're looking at, and then you like save that wallet address. And I've fallen victim to selling because that particular person sold and then missing out on tons of money. And I was like, what am I doing trying to copy someone else's thesis or conviction, and it just never seems to pan out so well. So that's sort of something I've learned in the last sort of 3 to 6 months in particular, is build your own conviction, run your own race. And I think that will pay off or have a massive benefit for everyone.
Got it. So that was actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you. As we close out the year, what are some like kind of big things that you take away? So that was one of them.
Yes, definitely. Running your own race, huge. Having a strategy. I don't know if you saw the what has boosted my following from a measly 1,000 to a ridiculous 2,000 recently is that sort of banking challenge that I started, where I was just like taking Sol out of the market. Yeah, taking Sol out of the market continually, and like, I don't know, maybe when Sol was around 200, my average banking of Sol was probably around 200. Managed to bank 250 Sol within 6 weeks, I think, which is good going. But it profit taking, man. Like, it's so silly and it sounds so obvious, but like, no one takes enough profit, and no one has the ability, or not no one, but I think we all get caught up with what happens if this coin keeps running.
Right.
And I've learned a lot about myself in the last sort of 3 months, that actually I've kind of realized that because of my personal situation, the fact that I've got kids, I'm like 40, or like 39, nearly 40. I've got kids, I've got a full-time job. Like, what is important for me is that can be put back into my kids and my family, right? If I keep looking at money disappearing and slipping through my fingers, I'm not doing a particularly good job of what I'm here for. We're all here to make money, right? So for me, I've realized that actually what I'm pretty good at is finding decently low market cap coins, holding on to them for the initial run, and then selling. Yes, I may miss out on future gains. Like THRT is the perfect example of that. I messed up that trade a little bit, but it's not a problem because I made a good amount of money from it. It could have been so much more, but I think what I've realized as I'm good at is having that realization that it is okay to miss out on a crazy amount of money for consistently good gains,
And I guess that's one of the things I wanted to just walk through as well. Is just first, just kind of give the audience a little backstory about this banking strategy,
yes,
and kind of how that's shaped how you approach markets now.
Yes, after again the coin that won't be named, after that screwed everyone and friends, and everyone was kind of low after that. I was like, all right, like, I can't have conviction in coins anymore. I don't trust the Solana traders to hold anything anymore, and that is obvious because no one does. I don't trust devs to follow through on what they're saying, because how can we trust just a face behind a screen when we don't know who they are, we don't know what their intentions are? So I was like, okay, like, my new thing is I'm just going to start banking Sol, like 1 Sol a day. And it was Market Watcher, watching markets. That guy often says like things along the lines of like, it's just really important to continue banking Sol. If you make $2,000, you should bank 1,500 of it, keep the 500 that's left, and trade that 500. And you're just trying to improve your life by removing money from the market. So I think it was kind of August time. I was speaking to, a couple of the guys that are probably listening now, like Cabra, like Franz, all those guys. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm done with holding anymore. Like, I'm just going to take a trade, sell, move on, and just see what I can, see what happens. And I think the first sort of 5 or 6 days, I was like, I just wanted to make one solid day. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think one solid day at an average of $200 is $64,000 a year. So if you look at it like that, can I make $200 a day in the majority of markets? The answer is probably yes, I can, because there's enough opportunities out there to do that, right? So it started off as that, just I'm going to keep banking sol. I'm just going to keep trying to earn that one sol a day. And I was super strict. Like there was a day where I think I made that one sol. I bought a coin the night before, woke up, saw one sol game, sold it. Like by 8:30 a.m. I'd made the one sol. I just kind of logged off for the day. I was like, cool, okay, that feels good. Like I don't have to worry for the rest of the day about, making money or trading or anything. And then it kind of spiraled. Like I was just banking sol like a madman. Like I don't know, I just hit some real nice trades, and everything just seemed to sort of come together quite nicely. I think, what was it, about 6 to 8 weeks ago, we had a nice run on chain, didn't we? Where there was a lot of low cap tech that was like running quite nicely up into, maybe 1-2 mil. You were finding runners from 20k to 500k, so 10-20x's. And again, this kind of goes back to the networking stuff. Like there's no way I could have done that without all of the guys that we trade with. Like I don't have enough time to find these plays myself. I find plays and do the research and write threads and do all that sort of stuff. But some of the guys that I follow and that we've got in the team, like they're just like on another level of insanity. Like I don't understand how they find these coins, like Jason Bourne, Robin Hood, like Franz. Although Franz's streak's coming to an end now. Like the guy's absolutely cooked. So we don't take his calls anymore. But all jokes aside, like Franz came up with some crazy plays, and I'm lucky enough that those guys are happy to share them. And without that, you'd kind of be on your own and sort of floundering around. And again, I'm kind of getting off topic again, but yeah, like it kind of boils down to the fact that every time I saw a gain that I thought was like profit, like worthy of selling, I was like, okay, like I'm going to start selling it. And because of the nature of the market within the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, so we had some good runners. Yeah, I went a bit crazy, and don't get me wrong, like it was difficult. There was some points where I sold too much and banked too much, and I missed out on some pretty decent gains. Like I think, do you remember Obex?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I missed. GM, y'all, what's going on? What's up? Let me get the screen in order here real quick. Let's see here. Boom. What's up, y'all? GICM, GMCG. Hope everyone's doing well. Markets continuing to chop. But today we have another great show lined up. Hopefully you guys caught the live stream. It was like 2 a.m. for me during the Solana Breakpoint stream. So, but hope you guys got a chance to catch that. Really great stuff there. We got some clips coming out of that as well. So looking forward to seeing those on the MCG Live Twitter profile. Outside of that, let's just dive right into it. I mean, going back to that interview that we said yesterday. We had not yesterday, but the last stream. Awesome interview here with Bones. Loved rewatching that here during the pre-show. But let's go ahead and real quick run through markets. Today we have an interview coming up with DeFi Franz. He'll be jumping on here in just the next couple of minutes. So before we actually bring him up, I actually just wanted to just run through markets, just generally, where are we, what's going on, what is everything looking like? And I wanted to go context as we go through that conversation here coming up in about 8 minutes. So again, welcome. Appreciate you guys for coming on. If you're new to MCG, we are the hottest, the most popular, the most exceptional ICM live stream here in crypto. And so, welcome to the best place for alpha. You're gonna love today's show. First, let's run through Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin. Earlier this week, on Monday and Tuesday, I did mention that we are still respecting this downtrend, right? We are still in this age-old downtrend that we've been in for quite a long time. Still need some work. I told you guys on Monday and Tuesday that, hey, look, for me to be convinced, for me to start diving back in the markets, I need to see us, sustain a breakout. I need to see powerful moves to the upside. Otherwise, I'm not really convinced that we fully bottomed. And I've never, you've heard me on these streams so many times say that I am not the one that is going to call for a V-shaped reversal out of this bottom. Still holding to that. If we go on a lower time frame to the 12-hour, you can actually see it a little better here. And I've had the same setup pretty much drawn out on Bitcoin for quite some time. So here at 101K, we have the flash crash lows from 1010. But I've told you that we're into resistance, well into resistance. In fact, on Monday, you guys remember when I drew this out on Monday? I think that was even yellow. This. So a little bit of a head and shoulders forming here on Bitcoin on the 12-hour. And so far, we've respected that setup. And just looking at just what we're doing, we're coming into resistance. We're forming a head and shoulders, and we're forming a bear flag as well. I don't know if you guys remember this chart from my tweet the other day. Actually, I'm gonna pull that tweet up because I think it's really important. I think I might even have another one coming here, another tweet coming. But this was the tweet from the other day where I was like, oof, I'm looking at that. I'm just taking note, right? Like everyone knows I'm a bull on 2026. I don't think that markets are done. Trump, Besant, and the whole administration have, been pretty adamant that 2026 will, be a continuation of bullish markets. I'm going to listen to that. Why? Because every time when Trump said buy earlier in April and the market flipped, if you literally just listen to what they're not trying to, trick anyone. They're literally just telling you, hey, look, this is the time to buy. And this is the time to sell. When the sell-off was in Q1, they were talking about, look, the economy is a patient. We need to give it some medicine that it won't like, right? And that's when we saw the sell-off. When Trump said, hey, look, this is probably a good time to buy. He literally called the stone cold bottom. And so when he's now saying that, look, 2026 is going to be pretty good. I kind of tend to listen, looking at what he's done, over the last over the course of 2025. With that said, again, we have bearish pattern here forming. As you saw, we have the head and shoulders. We're right into resistance, and so with me not expecting a V-shaped reversal, because it seems that there were some entities selling off after the 1010 kind of flash crash, right? So we know that there's been some forced selling on Bitcoin. We don't really know if it's done. And typically after these sort of massive sell, kind of takes us a little bit to, really get back, and get back into bullish momentum. If we look over here, we see what's going on here. What I really want to direct your attention to is this. So early on, right? Early on, if you look, you see this initial breach of the low. Now we're chopping. Same thing is going on here in the early part. We breached the low. We're chopping. What I'm looking for is this. This is the price action here that I'm looking for. And I mentioned this on Tuesday. Explosive price action, consolidation. Explosive price action, consolidation. Explosive price action, consolidation, right? That's the kind of PA that I'm looking for to say that, okay, change of character on the Bitcoin price action. I think Bitcoin is ready to go. So far, all we've been doing is literally just kind of chopping around in this environment. And on top of that chop, we have all this, that we have the short time frames, low time frame bearish structure forming. And so that leads me to believe that I wouldn't be surprised to, you know, I said yesterday we might pop up to, or not yesterday, last stream. I was expecting maybe even like a pop up to 20 or not 20, but 97,000, because again, we're forming this bear flag on the 12 hour, so a lower time frame. But when you really take a look at it, um, here's what we're forming, this bear flag. So I wouldn't mind us going up to like 96,000 at the top part of this channel and then selling off. But looks like we didn't even make it to the top. We just kind of wicked above this resistance, like we did here. We just wicked above it, and now we're just puking the lows. We're just puking back down again. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us, as we continue to respect this higher time frame downtrend here. And I'll just change this to let's just change it to a red line. This red line that's here, we've been respecting this downtrend for quite some time. So, and it's not, the price isn't explosive enough to really show strength on Bitcoin. So I'm still, pretty bearish here, not gonna lie. It's uncomfortable because I'm usually a bull, but according to the chart setup, I just have to go with what the charts are telling me. And I'm expecting, again, a bullish 2026, but just a little bit more consolidation and chop here going throughout the rest of December, to really set up for a bullish 2026. Or if we do end up, really testing these levels here at 101K with the flash crash lows, I expect us to sell off, if we get there. So pretty huge, pretty big area to be aware of. But that's where we are. High time frame. We got DeFi friends. He's in the waiting room backstage. So now that we have an overview of the market, things pretty bearish, big sell off right now. On chain is pretty choppy. Let's get kind of take a look at him, see what he's looking into right now. And let me do this. I'll just pull up my chart. Leave this up here. Let's add DeFi friends to the stage. Bang. The boy, the homie, the on-chain wizard himself. What's going on, brother? Welcome up.
GICG.
Hey, welcome, man. Appreciate you coming up. It's honestly, bro, it's been a pleasure trading with you these last few months. I've always loved your takes on the market. They say a lot of times it's some of these like smaller some of these smaller accounts that aren't like 500,000 followers, but like they're truly gems. And I'm like, man, when I forget, I've seen so many of your threads. I forget which one was the first one, but there was like several of your threads. I'm like, man, this guy is just a wizard. He's smart. He has a really good eye for projects. So just happy to have you on stage here. And I guess the best place we can just start off, friends, is just a little bit of a background. Let the people know who you are, where you came from, how you even got into crypto, and let's I guess let's start there.
Yeah, it makes sense. First of all, thanks very much for having me. I think it will be an interesting one. Super happy to be here, and also super happy to hear that taking some value from my posts, because I just started posting, not really expecting anything. I was just like, okay, let's post my thoughts, some setups, and let's just see where it goes. So it worked quite well at some points, I think, because I was doing good in the market. Think now I'm a bit touching grass for the past few weeks. So I've been a bit less active, but good to hear and good intro. But regarding your question, so a bit of background on me. I started crypto, I believe, close to the 2021 top. I had a few weeks of, let's say, having a bit of this mania phase close to the top. I remember like those really old cheaters, pumping to heaven. Like I remember one trade on Ethereum Classic I don't know if you remember that one, but like, yeah, pure shitcoin to be honest. And those old cheaters were all pumping, and yeah, I was looking at things, and that's where I really got interest in crypto, on let's say the financial side of things, because I was like, okay, there's a lot of money to be made there, obviously, but then also simultaneously I was quite interested by this whole principle of decentralization, because I've always had some interest in financial services, and for example, that was a bit the time where the neobanks like Revolut and N26 were growing a bit. And then I was a bit fascinated by this whole concept of banks actually managing to disrupt the business model of things, of the way things are done normally, and managing to actually cut their branches. And I thought that, yeah, cryptos and Bitcoins was a bit of a logical follow-up of this interest. So yeah, there was both the financial aspect that was pretty interesting when I saw all the shit coins absolutely pump close to the 2021 top, and then I was also super interested by the fundamental side of things as well. So that's a bit how I entered into the rabbit hole.
Got you. So you kind of saw the allure of the potential ROI, and you're like, okay, time to get involved. So I guess you were trading back when we were just kind of like raw dogging it on chain, like Uniswap, like no TG bots, no trading terminals, right? You were kind of trading. You got started there with trading actually on dexes.
Yeah. So actually, I think then after this period that I just described with let's say the main shares of 2021 pumping, like, yeah, ETC, LTC, those kind of old coins, that are barely moving nowadays, but that back in the days were really crazy. Then I started getting into researching more things, and that quickly brought me to more centralized exchanges, because at first I was just doing everything on Binance, like most people start, I guess. Then I actually saw that there were many other exchanges, and that those exchanges were providing coins that you could not access on Binance. And yeah, I just naturally kind of tried things. I think my very second exchange was Qcoin, and I got some good stuff there. I think I got actually Tao super early. My average was like between 20 and 30, I think. I don't
Yeah,
know
nice.
the ATH exactly, but yeah, that's like times 20 or something, I guess. So Qcoin was first. I bought a lot of shit coins there, worked quite well. Then I remember the next one was MEXC, because then on Qcoin, at some point, I was like, okay, I still don't have enough access to enough coins that I want to buy. So I also installed MEXC and got Caspa super early there. I don't know if you remember that one, Chill.
No, honestly, I came towards the end
Yeah.
of the 2021 cycle. So I mean, dude, if I was even a little bit more locked in, I could have gotten in at the summer lows
Yeah.
after the sell-off, but nope, bought the November 2021 Pico top, bro. Like, it's crazy how I timed the top so well. I literally bought in the day things stopped. Like, I think it was November 21st, bro. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I guess that's how most people start, right? You need to get
Yeah,
those brutal experiences, and yeah, you need to
gotta
also,
pay your tuition.
exactly. That's a
Gotta-
tuition fee. You need to see that is, but yeah, it's hard when you go through it. But yeah, basically, then on Mexi, I got Caspa, which was it's still a layer one blockchain, and it was, I think, to this day, it's still probably my biggest multiplier. It's like 120 or something.
Man,
Yeah,
120x return on Caspa. When did you discover it?
it was around 2022, I think. I just installed Mexi, and then I was just looking for things to buy, and then I came across this like super revolutionary blockchain, like that was solving the trilemma. I was like, let's throw a few things into it. It was one of my best investments, because also think I invested in 2022 or something, and then at that point the market was not really moving, but still Caspa pulled me like a 120x or something. So I could grow my stack when most of the market was actually not really moving. So that was a big one for me.
Man,
Um,
let me bring up this Casper chart. So real quick, so you got Casper pretty early. I mean, walk me through the process. Like, and I guess this is one thing that we wanted to talk about in this interview anyways, but like walk us through like your research process. Like how do you catch these things so early?
Man, for Casper, I honestly I don't think I'm able to remember again what happened, but it's basically everything I'm taking. I think I'm finding them through X. I think there are a lot of smart people, and you're following the people that you're following is probably one of your best assets in crypto, because yeah, you will always have people smarter than you and that can find things earlier than you. So your role, I think, is to follow those people and then to make your own thesis about things on top of that, because you cannot buy everything that people is stealing you.
Right.
um, so yeah, I don't remember the exact process, but I think found it on X. It wasn't super chill back then, of course, but then I looked a bit into it and I was like, yeah, back then layer one was super trendy, right?
Yeah.
It was really the golden play, because yeah, every new blockchain that was a bit faster or more secure or more decentralized would really pump quite well. And this one like was based on some special technology that I don't even remember, but that's made it well, let's say, advanced in solving the blockchain trilemma. So that was a bit the thesis, and that was probably one of my best investment ever. I don't remember at what price I bought exactly, but I think it's like 120x return from bottom to ATH approximately. Obviously I
Man.
scaled out, so didn't get the full bag out of the top, but yeah, still was a nice play. So yeah, that was a bit the my
That's awesome.
yeah, that was fun. That was fun because now I think centralized exchanges, you cannot really find super nice plays anymore. Um, and yeah, that brings me a bit to the next phase, which was trading on chain. I think at some
I,
point, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess that's the thing I kind of wanted to ask you as well. So you caught this huge you caught this huge pump on Caspa. You caught it early. You your research process was kind of done through like, or I should say discovery process was done on Twitter, which
yeah.
honestly I fully agree with. Like when I came to Twitter, I realized that there are just chads that would just want to post research like you, want to write thread thesis, not for the just putting it out there just to provide value, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's really important. But like you mentioned, there's not like the way to trade then isn't the way to trade now. There's not like many plays on a
Exactly.
centralized exchange
Yeah.
that you could discover anymore. So like how has your trading process kind of evolved from, I mean, you discovered Casper in 2022, so now 3 years later you're still discovering a lot of things early. What does your research process look like now?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think before, what happened is that coins would just pump without, let's say, being part of a certain narrative. So if a coin was good, it would just pump, right? Because there weren't many projects, and if you found like a great project, normally you weren't sure that you would have great returns. I think you cannot just, or at least the way I see it, I don't see individual coins really anymore. I look from a broader perspective. I try to look at narratives, because there are too many things, too many projects, too many narratives, metas. So you cannot really handpick a project that you like if it's not part of a broader narrative that you don't believe in. So when before I was just looking at individual projects, and if I liked, I didn't care if it was a L1 or RWA or things, anything. Now I just start from the narrative, and I'm trying to think, okay, what's gonna be the next narrative where all the attention would be. And then from there, I try to pick a few coins, but actually the coin selection doesn't matter so much anymore. For me, it's more like what's the narrative behind the coin. If that makes sense. I don't know if that was clear.
Yeah, no, that was clear. So you're more so paying attention to, all right, what's the narrative and where can I position myself? And where do you find yourself most often? Is it mostly Solana? Are you trading on base? Did you trade on, BSC? Where do you find yourself trading mostly?
Actually, I only trade on Solana right now because so coming back to a bit the backstory, after those, let's say, shady exchanges like Mexi, I went on chain on Ethereum for a while, and yeah, I was investing in utility projects. Also worked pretty well on some projects.
What was some of your biggest wins from ETH utility?
ETH utility, I didn't have any huge wins. I was early to Banana Gun. I don't know what price exactly I bought, but probably around between $2 and $5 or something. Like I was I accessed like this RWA coin, some AI coins like NMT, but I didn't have any huge win, I believe, on Ethereum. But still, like I managed to grow my portfolio quite nicely. But then, yeah, at some point, I looked at memes, and Solana. And in the past, I was always like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna touch memes because what's the value in that? Like, I want to invest into serious projects, and yeah, that was a bit silly of me, I think. But then at some point, I just decided to throw myself into the water and just see where it goes. So I went to Solana, put a bit of money into a wallet, and it worked pretty well. So I was like, okay, there is actually some activity happening on this chain. There is some money to be made as well. I think it was fun to trade memes. And actually the timing was really great because I think I did that. It was around October 24, so right before the AI meta. So that was actually the perfect timing to enter Sol. And then since that moment, I never traded anywhere else than Sol, because I do think that most of the super interesting projects nowadays and all the innovation is happening on Sol, even if Base is also super interesting. And sometimes I also want to trade on Base, but I also don't want to dilute my attention too much. It's already a lot to manage if you need to be following everything that's happening on Sol. So yeah, it's just a deliberate choice from my side to focus on one thing only. But definitely Base is also a place where you have really nice projects. And someday, if I have more time, I would definitely go into Base.
So, question for you. Kind of backtracking a little bit. You mentioned that you went from trading on ETH to trading on Solana. Now, I also had the same journey, but coming in late 2021, and coming into that ETH utility season of 2023, 2024, early on, the thing that I heard a lot was, no, man, ETH is where all the innovation is. This is where things go down. This is where all the action happens on chain. So there was a reluctancy from a lot of traders, even devs, builders, teams, to make the switch from Ethereum to Solana. So number one, did you go by yourself, or did you kind of like, were you working kind of trading with others, and kind of other people came along and traded with you as well? Or how did that work? Like, was it just you that kind of decided to go to Solana?
Yeah. So back then I basically, I was operating all by myself, because I think I started really growing a bit, a group of friends and sharing ideas with people not so long ago, actually. It was probably kind of beginning of 2025, interacting with people, going into TG groups, being active there. And that's where I met actually all my current friends now. But back then I just decided on my own to create a phantom wallet, throw a bit of money in there and look what it could do. So that was actually a good timing.
I mean, you made the switch, right? But
Yeah.
what specifically kind of drew you to Solana? What was the moment where you're like, all right, it's time for me to make the
I don't know if there was a precise element that triggered the move. I was just seeing, I guess, those memes really running. And also, I think probably a critical element that I didn't cover was the experience on Ethereum, because I was also using MetaMask, which was probably not the most optimized wallet, but the
nope.
experience was terrible. Like, to swap something, you needed to take to have some patience to approve 20 different things. Like that was a bit of a terrible experience. Also, the fees were, of course, super high because the network was really busy. So I just wanted to give it a try at Solana, and the thing is, you get hooked instantly because it's so fast. You have so many things happening. Yeah, the user experience is just 20 times better, at least compared to MetaMask. But maybe if I was on Rabi Wallet or something, I wouldn't have made the move. But yeah, also user experience was a part of it.
Man, I love Rabby Wallet, man. Dude, I discovered that I think in early 2023, and I literally never looked back. I never
Yeah.
looked back because Rabby Wallet is just that the UI is clean. Like you can avoid scam transactions, you can do so many things. But regardless, another thing that I wanted to ask you about was in terms of network. So the other
Yeah.
day, as you know, we had Bones on.
Yeah.
I saw you were watching that a
Of
little bit of
course.
that interview as well. Now Bones was talking about like the value of having a network, right?
Yeah.
And I've always, especially during the bear market, I was always trying to network. There are people that I was able to get in touch with that I probably wouldn't have been able to in a bull market when there's so much noise and there's so much going on.
Mhm.
So walk us through a little bit about your network. I mean, kind
Yeah.
of thinking pre Solana days, like as you're as you're trading on MEXC, you're trading on Ethereum, kind of walk us through your network there, how you built that up and how that changed going into Solana.
Yeah, but it's quite simple actually, because on Ethereum I was operating alone. Also, the centralized exchange, I had literally no one that I was talking to about crypto, like even our friends or no one. So really on my own. And yeah, I thought I didn't need anybody. I was like, I'm just doing my thing, and like I've never been like big networker guy or something. So I've always done things on my own. But then it all started on Sol, but quite late. I think also the full AI meta, I was doing things on my own. Of course, still really active on Twitter, but passively active. Like I wasn't posting or anything, but I was browsing a lot of Twitter and following a lot of accounts that were doing really good during the AI meta. But then it all started at the collapse of the AI meta, actually. So yeah, thing is, I made quite some money, but I round trip basically everything at the peak of the AI meta, because I, in the past, had a lot of trouble of selling things. I would be good in the uptrends, but I would be terrible in the downtrends. So yeah, I basically round trip most of my money. And then it's actually a funny story. And the guy is on the chat. I was down to yeah, it was not my last bits of money, but it really felt like it. And I was invested in a project back then that I thought was very legit, because they were in partnership with Ava Otherworld. You probably remember
Yeah,
that
I
one.
remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that.
And they had a partnership with a microcap that I was invested in. So I was like, yeah, all good, like no risk of rugs or anything. And in the end, I got rugged. Like those people, the dev sold the full supply. The thing dumped like 95%, and it really felt like the last words, like hitting me right in the face. And back then, so I was on the TG of this project, and I met this guy who was in the same situation than me. is in the chat. He posted a message like, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but Yahoa. Yeah, it's one of my best friends online, but I don't even know how to pronounce his name. That's quite sad. But we were
what it is to trade, what it is to be in crypto.
Exactly, man. It's getting out of control. But basically, we're in the same situation. We both round trip a big amount of money, and we got rugged on this project. And so we were discussing on TG, like, hey, what should we do? Because there were a lot of things happening with this project. In the end, the devs messaged us and kind of tried to bribe us to not really go into the open and tell that they were in partnership with Ava and that they rugged the project, basically. So there were a lot of funny things happening, and I was constantly messaging this guy, and we were just both like motivating each other's, trying to share new plays to make some money back. So that's how this whole thing started, with that guy. And then from there, I was like, okay, to have someone next to you to make things a bit more enjoyable, to share some ideas, to actually share some plays and everything. So from there, I just started being more active everywhere. So being more active in some TG groups. I started posting, I think, approximately at that time, probably a bit later. But I just realized that it's really valuable to have people who you can go to and just have a chat on literally anything, would it be market related or not, because you live the same emotions, like the same struggles and situations. So it's you can really relate to person on here on CT, on TGs, and that makes it great to connect with people.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, going through the bear market of 2022, I basically like zeroed out. I bought the top. I zeroed out a small 5-figure portfolio that I saved up from my 9 to 5 at the time. And 2022, everything blew up. Earlier in 2023, I got invited to my first. Like you, I was just kind of like just putting out threads, like just writing stuff. It got likes, so I'm like, okay, people like this. I'll just keep doing it. But then eventually, like, I got into this one group chat, and it just had like a ton of these people that were like huge on CT, and I'm like, whoa, that was my first exposure to the TG side of things, and from there it just kind of proliferated, right? But same thing as you. Like when I first came on Solana, I wanted to experiment with it. I wanted to see, and I got smacked both the first 2 times. And the last time I gave it a try, I was like, all right, it's Q4 2023. I'm going to give this one more try. And I discovered PopCat at 1 million. Like, whoa, there's something here. I just have to figure it out. I mean, I'm sure it was the same for you. How did you exactly figure out Solana? Like, was it just kind of you and your homie just kind of trading together, or was it just like framework that you had to build over time? Like, kind of walk me through it. Like, what exactly is your process right now when it comes to trading?
So indeed, network is still a big thing, right? Because then it all started with this guy Yahoa, but then I grew a bit my network. I met Bones, I met M.
When did you meet those guys?
But I don't even remember exactly how did I meet those. But I think it was on the TG group of a super low cap shitcoin that also rugged, by the way. So actually, I met all my friends on rugs, which is, you're getting rugged, but you're meeting great people. So it's just a win. But then, I met them a bit later, and also I met a lot of also great people just by posting. I was posting thesis, and it was Radar. That's it, Bones. We met through Radar. That was really a shitcoin. But anyway, I'm diverging. But I also met a lot of people by just posting, and then I started having people commenting my posts and providing alpha in my posts. So Jason, which is like, Jason is really goated. I actually started being friend with him because he was commenting my post, and he was feeding me some plays by commenting my post on X. Same for Finance Author, which was also one of my first friends online. He was just commenting my post at some point during the Belief season. He chilled me GTVO, I think it was called, this AI projects on belief.
Yeah.
And it's the day after it chilled it to me, I bought, and the thing went like times 20 or 40 or something. So
Crazy.
it was just, yeah, I just started posting. People were commenting my posts. I just engaged with them, we DM'd, and I created this circle to trade together. So network is today still something that I'm really happy to have, and that allows me to find better trades. But more generally, to answer your question on how I approach Solana, I think I developed this framework of narratives and attention just with a bit the experience. There wasn't like a certain thing that triggered also this framework, but I think looking at how things function in Solana, I think people are just investing where the attention is, because you can have a super nice coin in some certain narrative, but if this narrative doesn't have any attention, no one's gonna buy it. So I think probably the AI meta was the biggest, let's say, case in point that narratives and attention is all that matter, because AI was just so important. Any AI shitter that would release that was half legit would just speedrun to like 5 million. So it's just, for me, it was a proof that narrative mattered more than anyone else. And since then, it's a bit a framework that I've applied, trying to look at where's the attention and narrative going to be next. And it's something that has worked relatively well for me, rather than focusing on individual coins.
Got it. No, that's honestly so true. We look back to when Solana was initially popping off, right? And it was this narrative around meme coins, right? Meme coins are honest and true to what they really are.
Yeah.
You know, there's no VC scams. There's no kind of way for them to fake being a good coin when in reality they're just here to extract. And so that was like the prevailing narrative with meme coins earlier on, and it just kind of picked up. Whether you traded on ETH, whether you were on chain, or you traded on like sexes, if you actually made the shift and the transition to trading memes, you likely could have done well. You know, I mean, a ton of these things were going up, right? Even if you didn't mainly trade them. But I guess now the narrative is shifting a little bit more again. And I want to reference this tweet that you put out the other day. And I thought it was really interesting, because now the conversation is the pendulum is swinging in the other direction. Right now, we find that we're now asking, where is the value in tokens? Does the value lie in the equity that it's backed by? Is it tied to the business? Is it tying the token to the businesses in some way? Is it utility? Kind of walk us through how you're feeling about that. How are you feeling about ICM in general, but how you're feeling about some of these kind of equity-backed, equity-anchored token mechanisms, and if they can provide any value.
Yeah, that's honestly a super interesting topic right now, probably the most interesting in crypto. And I'm still a bit undecided on this whole situation. Let me explain. I think it's mentioned in the post, but you get a lot of those projects, launchpads right now, that are looking at ways to provide better value for token holders. Basically, that's the whole point of it. And they are now kind of engineering things to make the value flow back to token with ownership coins. You get streets with this new token standards that is kind of backed by equity. And I do think that those things are important for the industry, right? I think Solana needs to do better. In like 5 years' time, I don't want Solana to still be a place that is known only for memes. So I think we need some bright people to work on those challenges and to actually iterate, brainstorm together, try things, even if those are not the right things. But the feeling that I have now is that we might be over-engineering things a bit too much. Yeah, and by that I mean the whole purpose for me in crypto is to have a good product, with, you know, good, with a large user base, with people that see potential in the products. And for me, that is the best way to align incentives. But now, yeah, people are trying to come with legal mechanisms to kind of provide some value. And yeah, it just feels like we might be going a step too far, because, for example, let's take Avicii, which is doing so well. Avicii launched on MetaDAO, but I'm not sure that the reason Avicii is doing so well is because it's an ownership coins. I think people do not care so much. I think Avicii is doing so well because it's a product that has found product market fit. It's a product that people actually use. It's the first product I'm myself using in crypto outside of the obviously tools that I'm using for trading. It's the first tool that I'm the first product that I'm using in my daily life. So, and I think that's the reason it's doing so well, and not because you get some fancy mechanisms of coin ownership and those things. Even if I'm bullish on those things, and as I said, I think some people need to work on that. But yeah, sometimes it just feel like we're losing the plot. I think I wrote in my tweets, because we're not focusing on what really matters, and what really matters is investing, launching, and incubating projects that will have this product market fits. And I think the whole reason I wrote the tweet is because Nicolas Wenzel in the tweet below was saying that Pump Fun would not keep the product market fit, or didn't have product market fits. I think that's what he mentioned. And I was like, yeah, that's a bit crazy to say that, because Pump is literally generating close to $1 million every day when on-chain is super dry. So saying that this is not product market fit is a bit crazy to me. And yeah, so my whole point was that you don't especially need so fancy mechanism. You need a good product with product market fit, and token buybacks might just be enough in the end.
Yeah, I guess this whole conversation originated with an asset manager here, Jeff Dorman, where he's talking about token holder protections, um, and he says here that you know they can stop doing stock buybacks or dividends at any time. They can make poor, capital allocation decisions. And he's just kind of walking through all of this. And he's saying in the end, you're betting on growth and if they can manage their capital well. But I guess here Nick kind of responds with, just for those who aren't aware of this conversation happening, that, equity holders don't have a claim in bankruptcy. And he mentioned Pump. And I kind of would push back on this as well, friends. I actually agree with you here. I think Pump, it has found product market fit. As much as people think it's extractive, or it hasn't provided value to the space or what have you, it still is a massive company. They have $1 billion treasury, or multi-billion dollar treasury, and they're doing buybacks. And they're, like you mentioned in your post here, which is what I like. You mentioned that they're making they're making millions in revenue, even in a slow market.
Yeah, exactly.
And so obviously there's product market fit when things turn up in crypto. I'm pretty sure the pump revenue will turn up as well. I think
it's gonna be crazy.
It's the de facto place to launch a coin.
Exactly.
And it doesn't
it generates one of the biggest revenue in all of crypto. And actually, if you look at the market cap compared to the revenue it's generating, it's one of the lowest, let's say, P ratio in all of crypto. I think I do think Pump is ridiculously undervalued, to be honest.
I also think that as well. And I guess in that vein, we can kind of pull up the Pump chart, because I love Pump Fund, bro. Like as a token, I think it's one of the kind of cleanest setups that we have. Tokens that I'm watching right now that are like on like majors are Met, Pump Fund, and then we got we got the hot air rises, right?
Yeah,
But those are really the only three that I'm watching. And Pump Fund I'm
yeah,
watching because of that PE ratio, that
yeah, yeah,
revenue and fundamentals versus how much value it offers. Here's my question to you, Franz.
yeah.
So we have this big conversation around what gives a token value.
Mhm.
There, and in my view, there's three ways that you can give tokens value: the
Mhm.
MetaDAO way with
Yeah,
ownership.
yeah.
There's the sort of like, I mean, you can even say equity, definitely with street, but I mean, SOAR is more like a debt structure, but we can kind of bundle it under that same sort of
Mhm.
category. So you have ownership, you have
Yeah.
equity, and then the
Mhm.
last thing is utility. And by utility, I really mean like buybacks,
Yeah.
right? So in your opinion, is there a one and done way of providing a token value? Like, is it only through equity backed or something like that? Or is there
Mhm.
sort of a range that you can play with? Like maybe you have an ownership structure with a little bit of buybacks, or maybe you have buybacks only like a hype or a pump fund. How do you think about
Mhm.
that?
It's yeah, as I said, it's really a super interesting topic, and I think no one has the answer right now, and that's what is really fascinating because everyone's iterating on it. And yeah, to me, for example, right now it feels like we're sometimes over engineering things, but yeah, for example, streets. I read the white paper for the first time quickly this afternoon, and I was still a bit confused because basically it's still kind of a governance things that they are solving because yeah, they put, I understand that they put some equity into a special vehicle, and then through a DAO people can vote on how the surplus is going to be used, but it's never really flowing back to them, if I understand, in the dividend kind of way or something. So I'm just a bit confused with all those things that are going on around equity, and but I think it's good that people are really yeah cracking their head on that and iterating on some ideas. And I do think that we haven't found really something like the best thing that works, and also it's going to be different for every project, I guess. But it's something that I'm following closely, but I cannot really answer that question because we don't have the answer. I think it would be a bit arrogant to say that I have the way. But something also that for me is important is that we're probably really iterating on that and really thinking about those mechanisms because the market is so trash. Because in times of
Yeah.
uptrend, no one is asking himself those questions. And now to do is that they are trying to create a floor for those projects not to bleed anymore and link it to some real value. But if we were in an uptrend, basically no one would ask themselves those questions. So but it's not a bad thing, right, to really work on those. But yeah, for me what really matters and where we're losing a bit is that we need better products, we need better founders, we need better communities. And yeah, then it's going to be way easier afterwards to align incentives rather than trying to align incentives on projects that are fundamentally not great, and that are also born in not great conditions.
Absolutely. And what you said about that kind of brought something back to mind. So I was actually watching a video that kind of broke down the ins and outs of the FTX collapse and how that all transpired. And they were talking about kind of the middle of the where Sam Bankman-Fried, he was like, he's on the front page cover of like Time magazine, being compared to like the investor of our decade and of our generation and stuff like that, really hyping him up. And there was an interview he did at the height of his fame. And here's what he said, because they were like, how do you think about tokens? And like, how are you able to spot these? And what he said was, tokens are like a black box. You don't tell anybody what's inside the black box. You just make it seem mysterious enough to where people kind of speculate on its value. Now,
Yeah.
what he'd do is he would collude with like a few other VCs to pump the price up to like 5-10 mil market cap. And that will make people kind of say, oh, wow, like there's $10 million in this thing. I think I want to get in as well. And so that kind of led to more buyers stepping in because they figured, well, this has to be valuable. so much people have invested into it. And
Mhm.
so I felt like that's kind of the way these projects operated. They had like some sort of loose product, right?
Yeah.
But then they just kind of had this black box where, maybe they put some supply, maybe had some supply control or something like that. And, maybe they had some sort of like innovation, but they didn't really have anything specific. What they really
Mhm.
did was they sold you on the future, on the
Yeah.
mystery of it, right? And I
Yeah.
think that is the part of on chain, of just all these projects, that I think is like starting to mature. And
Mhm.
you tell me how you feel about this, because I wrote a tweet about this
Yeah.
the other day, and I felt like we've been in a bear market for most of 2025. We've had
Mhm.
like little moments where things outperform, but we've been in a bear market, in my opinion. And I feel like bear markets typically force teams to up their game. Like you mentioned, when price is going up, no one is really asking us, no one's
Yeah.
really asking any questions. But as price is going down, liquidity is being extracted, there are more sophisticated buyers left. Like I said it here, I said sophisticated buyers are the only ones left, and they're
Mhm.
harder to fool. So teams are forced to build things that are actually valuable. And that's where I kind of highlighted
Mhm.
Avicii, because they actually are a great product with a
Yeah.
great team that has product market fit.
Mhm.
So I guess going into looking back at 2025, do you feel like we've been in a bear market? And do you feel like this kind of brought on this conversation of, oh, what makes a token valuable?
Yeah. Um, that's a good question. I wouldn't say we've been in a bear market. I think Bitcoin went from like 18K to 130 or something. So even based on that, you cannot say we were in a bear market, right? But basically, altcoins are different because mm, when in the past people were just used to
And
Bitcoin
let
would
me
pump. Yeah,
let me
yeah,
say this. Let me edit that. I meant on chain. Yeah,
yeah. On
Bitcoin,
chain. Okay, yeah,
absolutely. We're up stupid off the bottom, but
yeah.
on chain in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, altcoins is just different, and on-chain has been indeed rough for the most of 2025. Um, but were we in a bear market? I think the issue is that there is just too many coins to pump, right? When you have
Yep.
thousands of coins being created every day, you have the thin liquidity because, of course, yeah, the liquidity hasn't been great. It was just so good at the end of 2024, maybe beginning of 2025, but it hasn't been the same since then. But still, I wouldn't say we were in the bear market because you had narratives that were actually doing really good. I think, but the game is just becoming harder. You need to be able to be in the right things, and that's something that always comes back from like traders. That asset selection is just so much more important than in the past, where you would just buy anything, it would pump. So there are still pockets of outperformance on chain, but it's just harder to spot it. You need to be super aware, you need to be dialed in, you need to sometimes zoom out and take the time to think, or you can also catch the train, when it's going, but then you need to be careful. But yeah, bear market, I wouldn't go as far as that, because also personally I think 2025 was my best year by far. So yeah, I wouldn't say that, but I kind of understand where people are coming from, and indeed your post is right. The game is becoming harder. People are asking for so many more things than in the past, right? In the past, I don't think people would really question founders. Now, when you're a founder in crypto, I think it must be a hell because people are just spamming you nonstop. Like if you don't post for 2 days, everyone is token and just treating you like shit. So yeah, it's becoming harder. It's becoming it's really a challenge to be able to identify the good things and make money, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I guess in that vein, so for me, 2025 was an interesting year. I came in off the back of like Q4, Q1, that was like a really nice wave, a nice little pocket of outperformance that we had.
Mhm.
And in Q1, I was like, wow, like, okay, this is huge. Melania launched, Trump launched, every
Yeah.
tariffs, everything started going down. In May, we had this like this bounce that was,
Mhm.
I was like, wow. And like again, great for my portfolio.
Mhm.
And then since May, it's kind of been like years past where
Yeah.
again there were some if you were mainly trading, like if you're trading some ICM tokens back when like Believe first launched, and like Dupe went to 80 mil and stuff
Mhm.
like that, I think that was even in the earlier part of the summer. That was
Yeah.
awesome. But then
Yeah. Yeah.
June, July, August, ICM was dead. We were doing this show and literally
Mhm.
nobody was talking about ICM. No one was interested in the space. No one was
Yeah.
even interested in the conversation. People were
Mhm.
just kind of like we talked about earlier, the same money just being rinsed around.
Mhm.
And now going into 2026 and looking back at everything that's happened in 25, what are some of your biggest takeaways? Because you've had a great year. Many of us kind of had an okay year.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about what you're taking away from the market this year.
Yeah. Um, I think first, yeah, I just had a great year because of a few plays where I was really early, and I was also kind of lucky because you cannot minimize luck in this market. But like, yeah, I
And tell me
was,
a little bit about those plays. Tell us about that. Like, what were your biggest wins this year?
yeah. So I was as early as I could have been, I think, on the whole belief thing. Um, I remember it started with Dupe. I was on Dupe below 1 mil basically. I saw it dip to even 500K, and I was like, "There's no way this thing is worth 500K." So I was constantly buying more, and I was just convinced that this was gonna be a narrative that was gonna pop up. And then it popped up. I made good money on Dupe, but I quickly, yeah, researched some beta plays, and I was then I quickly found Buddy. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I remember
And
Buddy.
yeah,
We had them. He was one of the so interesting story real quick about Buddy. Buddy was one of the
yeah,
first interviews that we had on this stream. I think not the first, but one of the first. And the guy that made Buddy, I actually followed him and
yeah.
I used his tactics that he taught in his post to actually
Mhm.
create my Twitter account. He
Oh,
he used to
really?
be called NFT God. Yeah, he used to be
Okay.
talk. He used to be called NFT God, and what he did
Yeah,
was he would break down the algorithm, how it responds to your posts,
yeah,
what to look for. He talked about how to format your posts, how to do all these things to, you know, you're providing value, but you need to provide it in a way that's
yeah.
digestible. And he
Mhm.
really helped me with that, and that helped
Okay,
me to grow on X. So I always
that's
remember
funny.
him, and it's like a full
Yeah.
circle moment. Yeah, having him on stream. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's just quick
No
side
worries.
note. But
That
yeah,
was
continue.
fun. But so Dupe started pumping. I was into it, and then I was convinced that this was going to be a narrative. So I quickly researched some beta, as I said, and I was yeah, I found Buddy, and I actually bought a lot of Buddy between 150 and 200K, I think, and yeah, it went to like 30 mil or something. So that was,
Jeez.
yeah, my best play of the year, and it was a nice, as I said, I really round tripped nearly everything during AI meta, so I really needed that win. And then from there, I'd researched the whole ecosystem of Belief super early. So when both of those started pumping, I quickly went into all the other tokens because I already had my list ready with all the legacy Belief tokens like Creator Gen, Band, those kind of tokens. And I also bought some launch coin, of course, I think at like 15 million in May. So I was as early as it can be on the whole belief thing, and that was, yeah, the biggest win overall of 2025, and also probably in my whole, let's say, yeah, trading journey. So that was the greatest one. Then I was also quite early in markets narrative. And there the biggest win was, there were two. There was Flipper that I also between 150 and 200K. and I think it also went to like 30 million or something. I don't know if I'm crazy for saying that, but it's at
Yeah, it was
least
definitely
20
like
million.
20
Yeah.
mil. Yeah, 20 mil
Yeah.
plus, I think. Yeah.
So that one was a huge one, and also OK bets that I had below 90k, and that went to like 5 millions that I had super early, and I directly saw that this team was just out chipping everyone. And I also knew, I was convinced that prediction markets would be a narrative at some point. So when I saw that one, I was like, okay, I just need to accumulate it. It's too cheap, and those people are way too good. And there was also back then a lot of asymmetry of information because, for example, at some point, it was really obvious that they were going to announce something with Kalshi because some big people from Kalshi started following the project, but still price was not moving so much. So yeah, those are, I think, just Buddy and ICM in general, and then prediction markets with Flipper and were really my best plays of the year. And so the lessons that I take a bit away from 2025 is really this framework of thinking in terms of narrative and not individual coins. And that's now something that I'm always trying to apply when I see something pumping, like an individual coin that I'm not in. I'm trying to ask myself a few questions of, okay, does this have potential to survive and actually explode as a narrative? Or is that just an isolated pump? And yeah, that is my whole, let's say, thinking in crypto, and to try to see where attention is going to be next.
I guess my question is like, how do you tell the difference, right? Like, because we've seen a few narratives pump, such as ICM, like the Believe ecosystem and stuff like that. But then we also saw a period of time where like these narratives lasted maybe a day, maybe a week. Like we saw robotics pump for like a day.
Yeah.
We saw what was that? This the streamer, the creator capital markets. We saw that pump for like a week and die off. Like how do you tell when is the time to position in and when is the time to versus when is the time to leave? Is there like an invalidation point? Like how do you kind of balance that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I had made a post in the past about it, but I don't remember exactly what I had written in it. But basically, a few questions that I'm asking myself is there a link with the real world? And by that, I mean, for example, it's very obvious that AI meta was just driven by the AI boom that we just see in the real world. And I think most narratives, they tend to have a link with a real need or something that we see outside. For example, ICM is, you get this issue that people are not really able to invest in startups unless you're an angel investor or something. And that's a problem that has always been there and that people have been interested in. So there is a link there. I think prediction markets, the link is also obvious because you get that are just growing so much. So I think that's the first thing that I'm trying to look at is this purely crypto driven? Because I think if something is purely crypto driven, there's less chance that it becomes a broader narrative because there's no validation, basically. I'm not saying that it cannot be the case because it can be, but I think it has less chance if there is no real world catalyst, let's say. So that's something I'm looking at. Something that I'm also looking at is, is there, even if there's no, let's say, price, the price is not moving, is there still a tension? Because I know that at some point, after the first wave of Believe, the price were not moving, but Ben still had so much attention on him and on Believe. And we had a second leg afterwards. And for me, I was also pretty convinced that we would have a second leg, even if it was not as good as the first leg. It was just, a bit underwhelming compared to the first one, but we still had one because there was just so much attention on Ben back then. I feel that for just died off from Believe and Ben. So I'm not sure we will see a Believe revival, but if there were still so many memes going on about Ben and those kind of things, I would tend to think that we could see another leg for Believe. So because attention and price are two different things, and you need to factor them both into your analysis, I think. So that is another thing that I'm looking at, and I think those are, probably the most important thing. I think, also an important, does the narrative has the potential to attract people outside of the, let's say, traditional on-chain playgrounds? Because I think I read a few articles during the AI meta. There was so much liquidity, not because it was only people on chain putting their capital, but you had a lot of big perps traders that were coming on chain to actually trade and try things because they saw that there was so much money to be made. And those big guys are not going to be, they're not going to come on chain for like a narrative that isn't really worth it. I think AI was just so big that they would come into it and they would leave their traditional activities, but not all narrative has the potential to attract those big players to pump the coin. So I don't have a perfect answer to that, but I think Catalyst in the real world would be my best element.
No, I think you actually had a really great answer to that question. The takeaways that I had from that was, one, does the narrative have the ability to escape the echo chamber of
exactly.
of CT? That's a really important one. And does it attract larger liquidity, right? Like, does it attract, the perps traders or people even outside of crypto? We saw that with the meme meta. It was very easy to get into, at least the stories that you were told, right, was that people were making millions overnight or whatever. So that definitely attracted retail. It attracted more liquidity outside of our space. I guess just using that framework, I really love that. And I might actually just incorporate that into my framework a little bit as well. But going into 2026, are there any narratives that you're using that framework and applying that framework to that you feel like, well, I think this can actually escape the echo chamber of CT? Any narratives that come to your mind?
Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned it, but you kind of put it to the trash, robotics. I'm actually starting to look at robotics because I think, we're just in an AI super cycle, and the logical next step, I think, with AI is going to be robotics. There are just so many things to do with that. And the thing is, I don't know when, but I do think that in the real world as well, like we're seeing with AI, we're going to see a crazy robotic like cycle. But the issue is that there's this physical part to it. So development cycles are way slower. And I actually don't know where we're going to see it, but I do believe that it's going to happen at some point. And it's always been a narrative that's at some kind of attention, but a low one, because at some point I know Codec was doing quite well, and then a few robotics kind of were pumped. It's really a proper meta, and I think it will come at some point, but it will need like a big, let's say, real world catalyst to kick it off. But I'm pretty sure it will trickle into crypto. And it's funny because I also started positioning in robotics, both in stocks and crypto. And I'm up more on my stocks than on my crypto. I bought 2 shady robotic stocks on the stock exchange, and I'm up like 50% of those. But my robotics shit coins are pretty much down. So, but I do think for me, I'm ready to position now and to take the downside, because those cheaters are kind of wrecked anyway. So I don't think the downside is huge compared to the upside that you can have. And I can just wait, it's things that I can hold for a while. I have a small watch list of like, I don't know, 10 to 12 projects on Solana robotics that are active and that are kind of legit. And I'm just slowly accumulating them. And God knows when it's going to pump, but I'm just ready to wait.
And I guess, so you have your eye on robotics.
Yeah.
Do you feel like ownership coins, ICM tokens, or if they're debt backed or utility, whatever we want to call these, that side of tokens, do you feel like they'll come back? Do you feel like that's something that'll kind of have a second wave?
So there are 3 things now that are on my mind that I'm positioning in. So it's robotics, as I said. It's autarky and ownership. I think I'm still doubting whether that is the good way to go about it, but I still think it's a good innovation. It's a fresh thing. So I'm quite bullish on MetaDAO, but it's not especially because it's autarky and ownership because of that, but it's also because the quality of projects is just, it's another breed of projects, I think. So I'm quite bullish on that. But yeah, the concept of autarky is also quite interesting. And I think there's a, I'm sorry, I'm just shilling my bags here, but there's another autarky project. It's ZC, you probably know it. That is, I think, also ridiculously undervalued because it's the only other autarky infra next to MetaDAO. And I think this is the kind of play that I like to position in because it's a new narrative. I think it has potential, and it's the freshest thing we've seen in a while. So I'm eyeing this. And I think it's linked to ICM. I categorize that as a subcategory of ICM, basically, like those MetaDAO projects, autarkies, ownership. So I think it's just the logical continuation of ICM and trying to make ICM better. But I think ICM is going to be a recurring theme throughout the next months and even probably years. The only issue that I have is that it's so diluted now because you have so many launch pads, you have so many good projects. So that's my only worry. Whereas, for example, robotics is not diluted yet. So those are the two first things. And then third thing is prediction markets. I strongly think we're still going to see a second leg for the simple reason that there are still a lot of catalysts that are going to come. Probably if this poly markets airdrop it's going to be a big catalyst. People are going to look at prediction markets projects again. They're going to see that, there are literally projects that have this poly market patch that are below 100K, below 50K for some of them. So that's one where I'm also slowly DCing and I'm quite heavily positioned because those tokens are just so cheap. And it's Calci poly market that's growing at such a rate. They're also onboarding a lot of KOLs super aggressively. On your feed now, you just see so many things from poly market and Calci. It's really becoming mainstream, and it's also one of those things, as you said, that has this potential of getting out of this echo chamber of CT. So the only thing that I'm worried is that those old, let's say, coins that have the poly market patch, the charts are just destroyed. And most of the time, people don't like to bid charts that are destroyed. So it might just be in the form of new coins, but still, those new coins won't get the poly market stamp and badge super easily and fast. So I think those old projects that have received this validation are still some good bets to make. But they're quite risky. So those are really the three things that I'm positioning still and looking at. It's autarkies and ownership coins, robotics, and prediction markets.
I think you summed it up really well. I've looked at this chart, or I've referenced this chart that we see here on the screen several times before. But I think that trading on chain, we have to look at different charts. We have to look at different metrics because what applied before for previous alt season just wouldn't really apply here. And we've seen and I talked about this with Bones as well, but we've seen historically things haven't played out the way they always have, right? Like Bitcoin pumps, that means we get a big alt season and it's supposed to be Bitcoin and ETH, then this, then that. But what we've really seen is Bitcoin pump and then on-chain pump. People, try to front run the pump of alt season by just diving straight into the riskiest assets. So that's why memes have pumped so much. People go straight out on the risk curve. And I think this is exemplified in this chart. Before we saw these huge alt seasons happen in 2017, 2021. But what I noticed is before those alt seasons, we had this sort of pre-pump, if you will, where before we saw the ICO meta of 2017, we saw DeFi summer of 2020. And there were a few other narratives that also went right. Like it wasn't just DeFi, it was NFTs, it was It was gaming and metaverse and all those things. And same thing, like we've had this sort of like extended, and that's why I want to call it even a bear market, because really
Yeah.
on chain has underperformed Bitcoin
Yeah.
since the 2022 top. So going into a breakout of this 3-year downtrend, I guess the question really is, what can we expect? What type of, we know it's narrative driven, what type of tokens will outperform? And I think you laid it out very, very well. Robotics, I'd even just say overall AI/robotics. I feel like
Yeah.
robotics is just like the next natural step. Now that we
Yeah.
have, AI, it'll be incorporated into these robotic kind of plays. But then you also have like Futarki,
Yeah.
ownership, prediction markets. I put that all under the bucket of like ICM, right? We
Ah,
saw
okay.
prediction
Okay. Okay.
kind
Okay.
of pop up. Most of
Yeah.
them launched on Believe. People
That's true. Yeah.
kind of like brand, like just put that under the ICM bucket. So I think ICM will come back in a pretty big and meaningful way. So yeah, I think you're spot on, man. We're coming up on, a little over an hour here, so I definitely want to respect your time. I don't want to keep you longer than you want
Ah,
to
no,
be
no,
here.
no. It's a pleasure, man. No worries. But just on these charts, are you predicting like a huge pump in 2026? If I can read that correctly with that green box, is that what you're predicting? Please tell yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I've had pretty big thoughts around this for quite some time now. Number one, we have this setup going into 2026, and maybe I even like I think I had a chart on this or a post on this that I wanted to bring out, and I believe here it is. Here it is. So this is basically another way to look at that chart, that same chart that I was showing you. We've had these on-chain pullbacks of almost 80%, literally every single time. We're now, down about that 80% mark on the others BTC chart, the same chart we were just looking at. And basically what this really is, it's like a falling wedge. One of Bones's falling wedges that play out all the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
on chain. So we're past that retracement point, and then with that, so like it from a chart perspective and a historical perspective, things usually pump after this. The
Okay.
chart looks like it's forming a pattern that
Yeah,
usually
indeed.
pumps.
Yeah.
We pull back quite a bit. So what will make us pump? And I think this is the most important part that I brought out was this sort of like state of liquidity that we'll be faced with in 2026. We talked about this like earlier as I was like kind of introducing you. Trump, Besant, his whole administration, they're all saying the economy will be fine in 2026. The stock market will be fine. Everything is going to be booming. And just like earlier this year when Trump was saying, hey, look, markets aren't going to be good. The patient isn't going to like this medicine that we give them. Pullback, right? Tariffs. And then
Yeah.
when Trump said buy in April, that was when we pumped in May.
Yeah.
And he literally bottom called it. And
He did.
now
He did. Yeah.
his administration is saying, yo, look, we're all bullish on 2026. And going into 2026, we have like this liquidity, like everything is pumping, like every central bank around the world is going to be putting stimulus packages together. There's stimmy checks coming out next year from the tariff revenue. So I say all of that to say,
Yeah.
and then here's my favorite part, the ICM. So, for me, I don't believe in the 4-year cycle. I think that everything has been driven by the business cycle, which turns up when liquidity turns up. So as liquidity comes back into the market, businesses now have the room to grow and expand. They borrow money so they can hire employees, build new facilities, really start to expand their business. And that's usually reflected in this ISM survey that goes out. And every time the ISM is over 50, that reflects bullish markets, bullish liquidity, and overall just like bullish for crypto as well. So, and you see that like where this in this chart where we go above 50 and usually Bitcoin freaking rips. So
Okay.
that's kind of my setup for 2026. That's why I believe this big green box here will
Man, that would
literally
be nice.
it would be right. It would, but at the same time, I'm waiting for I'm already seeing it. A lot of people are calling for the bear market. A lot of people are
Yeah.
saying, oh man, like 2026 is going to be bearish, or maybe we see our last pump. People are expecting a shoulder, like a pump to 100K, and then we just sell everything off.
Mhm.
So I'm loving the fact that I'm seeing that, but I'm still expecting 200K Bitcoin, 15K Ethereum. I don't know if Sol goes to 1,000. I used to think it went to 1,000, but we've doubled the market cap, I think, since then. So we might even go to like $200, $300, $400. I don't really have a target for Sol in mind, but yeah, like that's my overall thesis. And I think the narratives that you've laid out, I think that's exactly where we need to be paying attention.
But that's also interesting on the chart, because you can see that every few months you have this purple box, which represents a new narrative. And now would be the time where it could start popping up, basically, anytime. And it's also a reflection that I had recently. I think the periods like right now, where it's super quiet, you don't have many things happening, where you need to be also a bit aware of what's going on, and just keep your skin in the game, basically, because I think those are the perfect conditions for a new narrative to really pop out of nowhere, basically, and explodes. I think it was the same situation with ICM, right? It was during May. There wasn't much happening. No one wanted to build the old AI charts, and then ICM came in, and you get those fresh charts, fresh projects, fresh ideas, and then everyone starts bidding again. And I do think that right now those are for such a thing to happen again. So I took a nice break the past 2-3 months or something. I was active, but I feel like now I should really get back to researching, spending a lot of time on X, because I just feel like it could happen any day, basically. But it could be in a few days, but could also still be in a few months. But just statistically, when you look at your charts in the purple box, we could have something really soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at the charts, and I'm really not trying to be too emotional about this. I really just want to look at the charts and see what's played out. Not even so much historically, even, because like I know that things are a little bit different. Like even the way we trade on chain is different, man. We weren't talking about bundles, supply, and all that, in 2021. Nobody was looking at, inflationary tokenomics, deflationary nobody was looking at that. And so I'm just looking at things and I'm like, okay, based on the way things are playing out, based on what I'm seeing from the charts, and then I'll show you like one last thing that kind of makes me think that on chain isn't finished.
Okay.
It's this from CoinGlass. It's top signals, right?
You always saw those coming back, right? And none of them really hits yet, right?
None of them hit yet. I'm just looking at the data. I'm looking at what the charts are telling me, and it's telling me, man, job's not finished. So I don't know if you've seen me, like at the end of my post, I'm always like, job's not finished, job's not finished. Because it's not, in my opinion. Like it's not. So that's what I'm thinking. Man.
To push back a bit on that, I think this is a bit dangerous to look at those indicators, because in the end you're basing yourself on patterns, because those indicators, the thresholds, it's determined based on historical data, right? And as you said, basically already a lot of times things are just different now. So I think you should have a look at them, and it's good to have that in your toolbox. But I personally wouldn't give too many weights in my own trading, let's say, view. I wouldn't give too much importance to that, and I would just, as you said, play what's in front of me, basically, because those indicators, you always see them, but like, yeah, I don't know, it's just based in the past, and things are growing and evolving so fast that having bias points and anchor points that are from the past, I don't think it's the most optimal way to go about crypto. But I also think that job's not finished, but yeah, not for the same reasons exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just trying to see like honestly what's going to play out with Bitcoin. So we know what narratives you're looking at. And I guess the last question before we kind of wrap up here
Yeah.
is what do you think about what do you think, is going to happen going into 2026, or what's your approach? For me, I'm not really trying to like
Mhm.
predict. I used to try to like predict prices, like, oh man, I think it's gonna go this way, that way,
Yeah.
this, that, it'll be this price at this time. But for me now, like I'm really just relying on markets to prove me right or wrong.
Yeah.
So now I'm more so like, hey, look, I think we're gonna be bullish in 2026, but here's what I need to see first. Like number one, I need to see us break this downtrend, right? I need to see us start to consolidate, or if we are going to make a recovery, make some powerful moves. And as it stands on all high time frames, on the monthly, bearish, on the weekly, bearish, right? Like, and it's kind
Mhm.
of forming a bottom here on the weekly. 3-day still hasn't broken the downtrend, like going all the way down to the daily. I think the only thing, and even the 12-hour here, like with this bear flag that I've been pointing out for the last couple of days, this bear flag has been like playing out this whole time as well. So I'm really trying to figure out, or I'm really trying to put it on the market to prove to me that you're ready to go up. I don't want to be the one to go out on a limb
Yeah.
and tell and say, hey, I'm predicting this, that, and the
Mhm.
third. So I think for me going into 2026, I want to see some sort of like consolidation, some sort of like breakout out of this downtrend. And then I want to start seeing some powerful moves. I have a bullish bias going into 26, but I need to see the market kind of like
Yeah.
open up and prove me right. How's your view on like Q1 of next year? Like I know you're on a break now. Like what will make you jump back into markets? Like what do you need to see?
Yeah. I think that's something that I really cannot answer, because first, I'm not really like so well educated in everything that is macro related, like charting. I never basically do charting. I rarely look at macro stuff. So I have actually no idea what directions like the BTC thing is going. And I'm just trying to play what's in front of me, and I just look at on chain and the narratives and the projects, and whenever I found a price that seems attractive to me, I just buy what's in front of me. But I don't ask myself most of the time, okay, do I think that Bitcoin is gonna go up or down? Because I honestly have no idea. I think, also in the past trying to predict those things, but that's not where I'm good at, and I'm not spending too much time nowadays on those. So I think, yeah, I had a nice break in the past few months. I'm getting into it now again since past few weeks. But still, I don't even know if Q1 is going to be bullish. I have no convictions, to be honest, in anything, but I just think that those prices that I see on narratives that I like, and I still think we come back at some point, I cannot pass on them. I need to DCA them in some kind of way, and I'm okay if things still go south and I need to bleed a bit more. Playing things, it's probably not the smartest way. Maybe I should just try to educate myself on any kind of macro theories, like high time frame charting, but those are not tools that I'm using in my arsenal right now, to be honest.
Got it. Got it. Sounds good, man. Look, this has been a very refreshing interview. You
It's been
know,
great. Yeah,
um,
I loved it.
it's like we think the same on certain things, but we also think different at the same
Yeah,
time. And like I love that. I love
that is
that.
the beauty of it.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, we all have a different view on the
yeah,
market. And that going back to what Bones was saying the other day, like that's kind of the value of just having a network, having people that you like
yeah,
to trade with. We all see something different and we can all take something from each other.
exactly.
So
And
I
yeah,
think the
I think,
audience
yeah.
really like this.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, if I had to close with something, is that you just need to find your your edge in the market, because it's going to be different for basically everyone. What works for you is not going to work from someone else. And also, if you see someone doing well with something, you should not try to copy. I like to think of trading based on three elements. Basically, it's finding first what works for you and makes you money, because as I said, it's different for everyone. Second is also what makes you comfortable, because it could be that you're making money but you're not sleeping at night, and that's also, I think, not really sustainable. Yeah, quick example for me, I don't like to throw too much size into coins that have high market caps. For example, Avicii, I was eyeing an entry, but I was like, yeah, I don't want to throw some size in that, because I know I'm not going to sleep well at night. But I know it's probably not the most optimal thing to do, because there's probably a lot of money to be made on that if you throw size and you make a 2x or 3x. But that's just not something that makes me comfortable. And then lastly, I think you also need to operate in the market in a way that makes you interested. You need to find things that you're really interested in. And for example, myself, I really like new narratives, trying to make some hypotheses about where the market is going to go, where the attention is going to be. But it could be that you find enjoyment in researching some techs, some low cap techs or something, which I don't really find enjoyment in. So it's really, for me, compounding with those three stuff. So making money, enjoying the process, and being comfortable, being able to sleep at night. And yeah, for me, this is because we often emphasize only the fact of making money, but I think it's also equally important to enjoy it, because we're in this for the long run, it seems like, with the markets. And you also need to be comfortable, and you shouldn't refresh your portfolio every night at 4 a.m. when you wake up. So that's also very, very important to me. But yeah, everyone needs to find his edge, basically.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I totally agree with you. Especially the part where you mentioned, what when you need to be comfortable holding a bag,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We talked about this the other day as well, but I kind of talk about it from the sense of emotional risk. You are putting yourself at risk of making an emotional decision. So if you know that, within yourself, you're not really comfortable holding this because of whatever reason, whether your size is too big, whether the risk is too much, whether, if it makes you nervous, you are more at risk of making a bad decision or making an emotional decision. And so I also try to hone in on that as well. Just go into plays, go into things that I'm, number one, interested in, but number two, I know it's not gonna, I'm not gonna be checking the price,
exactly,
all the time.
That's so important.
Yeah. Because you check the price all the time, then you're putting yourself at risk to responding to those green candles. You're putting yourself at risk of, just making an emotional decision based on the short-term price action. So yeah, man, I think those are really, really excellent points, man. Look, it's been a great interview. I think we'll wrap here. I think that there's so much nuggets that we can pull from this. And I just actually reached out to our intern, our clippers, and we're going to be clipping this whole thing up, bro. Look out for some posts on the account. But I think there's just so many nuggets that we can take away from this interview. So I really appreciate you coming on. And honestly, it won't be the last time. I'll be reaching out to you guys again. What I'd like to do is have a group of us on, at times as well, just to kind of chat, talk about markets and what have you. So
that would be so nice.
But either way, just I guess last thing, just what would you like to leave with the MCG audience, with the folks here? Any last little things you want to leave us with?
No, I think just we need more people working on ICM like you guys are doing, more people, more communities forming, because community in crypto is just everything. So yeah, just a bunch of people talking on stream, people watching, anything that is community related is just so important in crypto. And I think that's something we were missing a bit before you guys created the show, because ICM was a thing, but you are now this really community aggregator, and I think you're doing such a great job at promoting projects. Also, just giving a transparent view on the fundamentals and the advancements in ICM. So I really think the show is so valuable, and I'm super happy that you invited me to have this discussion. It was super nice. And I would be glad to jump in again whenever you feel like it's adequate.
Look, I appreciate the kind words, bro. That's high praise, validating in a lot of ways. Actually, that is why we created the show, just to provide be a more like neutral party, if you will,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
just bringing to the forefront great builders, great projects in the
yeah.
space. And I like the word that you use, a community aggregator.
I don't
I
know if
love
that's
that.
really, it's a bit of a bullshit term, but it's the best I could come up with. But I really think that you're this layer where basically everyone can meet, and also you have this broader view of ICM that also takes in projects in prediction market and everything. So you're really this layer where everyone can meet if they're interested into utility on Solana, and we didn't have that. So you guys are really killing it, and I mean it. So congrats for that, and it shows in the statistics. So yeah.
No, man, I really appreciate it. That means a lot that you said that. And yeah, look, we'll get you back on the show for sure. I'll be in touch with you as well. Of course, we'll be trading. I'm not
Yeah.
trading as much right now, but
Mhm.
definitely we'll be back dominating on chain here pretty
Yeah,
soon. But
we
really
need some
appreciate you for
wins.
coming through.
We need some
Yeah,
wins. So.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll get some here soon.
Yeah. All
But
right.
appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you on stream next time. Appreciate you, my
Yeah.
brother.
Cheers. Cheers. Appreciate it too. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Bye bye.
All right. Dude, guys, awesome interview. Holy crap. I don't know if you guys caught that, like some highlights from the interview. Look, there are so many great things that we could take away from that. He obviously has a good history of being able to just eye some really great projects. I mean, he talked about 120x return on Caspa, but like seeing dupe and going in hard on it at 500K, seeing things like Flipper sub 500K. We went through like kind of lessons from 2025, how he spots narratives. I think my biggest takeaway there was with the narratives was seeing that what will stay crypto narrative and what can reach beyond the echo chamber. I think that's really important. I mean, we kind of knew that already, but it was a really good reminder to, like, even with utility, I feel like with meme coins, that's what people look for with meme coins, right? Like, what's a crypto native meme versus, like, something that can reach into the real world. And I think we lost sight of that a little bit with utility coins, like, or with just any project really. It's, hey, like, we're not just here to solve a crypto problem. We're here to actually build a product that provides real world value. And I think sometimes we kind of get lost in our own sauce when it comes to that. But that was a really good reminder from Franz, like how we can again keep an eye on a narrative that can be broader and much bigger than just CT itself. I think, prediction markets is that, but you know what I also think is that? Ownership and ICM tokens. Like, that's going to be a huge narrative, especially as we see regulations change more closely and more so in 2026. So that's why I'm really bullish on ICM 2026. I'm bullish on ownership coins. So yeah, man, I just can't wait for these things to really for the market to really realize what's going on within the ICM, MetaDAO, SOAR ecosystem. And I know Street is coming out with their tokens, with some token launches as well. So yeah, I'm bullish on 2026. I really love that interview. It really encapsulated a lot of things that we talk about, and a lot of things, a lot of beliefs that we hold on to. The other takeaway from about 2026 was on the narratives. He was also bullish ownership tokens, also bullish prediction markets, but also bullish robotics. And going back to this others BTC chart that we often like to mention, and the one that we brought up in the interview, And I'll actually, let me just pull up that chart real quick so you guys kind of can see where I'm coming from here. So here's the others BTC chart. You know, we saw the pre-pump, right? Pre-ICO, DeFi. Like this is where like XRP and some of the other call it ICOs were launching. And then we saw the ICO boom of 2017. 2020, we saw the DeFi summer, and then boom in 2021, DeFi was one of the biggest returning sectors, along with others like NFTs, metaverse, gaming, all that good stuff. So far in the pre-pump to this 2026 season that I think we'll be in, we've seen AI agents. We saw a utility season on ETH, but we're also seeing another version of utility season here on Solana, which in my opinion is this ICM ownership. Everything that has pumped, and of course, I think memes are always going to be there. Degens will always degen at a certain point. But yeah, I think, ownership, ICM is going to be huge, huge wave coming in 2026. All right. So I'm seeing that Soar launched. Soar just launched another token. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah. Bang. The latest verified launch. Keep that in mind. Verified launch. Not a curated launch, but a verified launch. Remember the difference. Curated is by the Soar team. They did DD. They, are going to get hands-on. Verified is they are a real company. They are doing everything correctly, but they're just kind of their own volition coming to the Soar platform, right? And they're choosing to launch on the Soar platform. Little alpha for you guys. Little birdie told me that that Soar launches, the curated ones will be announced 30 days after launch. So I don't really know if I'm supposed to say that. So that's the last time you'll hear me say that. But anywho, so Soar just had a launch, bit.labs. Let me actually look on the Soar platform. Let's see exactly what we can find here. Bit.labs. Let me go to the artifacts. Let's go to their press kit and let's see what they have for us. Let's see here. So they have, it's a full-on Pages article here. I guess let me go through this real quick. So BitDot is a London-based independent creative gaming studio. The company is already generating revenue with its viral hit Nano Neighbors, a game with 4 million daily active users and co-published by Unicat and GamerSky, the largest gaming press in China. Nano Labs has caught the attention of prominent gaming journalists from publications such as IGN and Vice to very big publications. I'm into gaming as well, and this actually, that's actually pretty huge. So there's only one real studio, Bit.Dot token, and that's the one that's launched on Soar. So let's see here. I'm looking through the artifacts, and let me see if I can just kind of just real quick spot any high ticket, high priority points to flag. So they're talking about Nano. Let's see here. So Studio Bit.Dot is a cozy indie game studio run by a husband and wife duo dedicated to crafting charming bit style games with heart. They're the developers behind Nano Neighbors. At Studio Bit.Dot, the focus is on thoughtful design, online worlds, and the kind of details that make small games feel big. The Unicat label is an independent publisher for independent games that push the art of gaming forward. Hosted in Perth, Australia, and born in 2024, the team so far published Pools and Dystopica, and the upcoming Chill Rooftop Builder High Above. Okay, and they also have game They're also co-published by Gamer Sky, which we just talked about, largest gaming press, um, largest gaming press in China. Okay, so nice, nice. Let me do this real quick. Let me do this real quick. I want to show you guys Nano Neighbors real quick. I'm just kind of researching this live. Had no idea this would actually launch today. Didn't even know they had another launch. Um, didn't even know we had another launch on launch. I mean on SOAR coming up. But here's Nano Neighbors. Here's Nano Neighbors. Let me show you the video real quick. And actually, I might have to stop sharing and reshare my screen. Let's see here. Stop sharing. Reshare my screen. Hit Nano Neighbors. All right. Let's see.
A cozy idle game that lives right at the bottom of your screen. Meet your Nano, your little companion. Customize their look, decorate their home, and make it your own. While you watch videos, study, or browse the web, your Nano is always there, keeping you company. Play relaxing minigames to earn income, unlock upgrades, and add even more charm to your world. And the best part, you can invite friends, hang out together, and share your cozy space. Nano Neighbors. Simple, relaxing, always with you. The demo is live now, only on Steam.
Okay, cool. Cool. So that is Nano Neighbors, 4 million daily active users. And this is their kind of like SOAR page. I'm looking through some of their artifacts. The one that we just talked about was the Nano Neighbors press kit that we see here. The other one that I want to go through is the Nano Neighbors license agreement, just to make sure. I mean, honestly, like this is more DD that we get on. There's more DD that we get on SOAR launches than I would say any other launch, or any other project. I mean, we're not seeing, license agreements and stuff like that in many of the projects that launch, even some of my favorite ones. But so like getting a lot of this just right after launch is can help you just verify the legitimacy of the project and the legitimacy of the company. So if they're ever making any big claims or anything, we can see up front if it's something good or not. So let me see here. That was a license agreement. Let's see. I'm just kind of brushing through this again. I'm just like, I'm just kind of looking through this and making sure that there isn't anything that we should flag, any like metrics that we should highlight, stuff like that. Just look for something, just anything interesting that we can point out. So far, I'm not seeing much. The main thing about this is a gaming studio that's co-published by some of the biggest kind of players, gaming players in China. So something to be aware of here. Honestly, what I'm looking for out of some of these SOAR projects is simply price discovery, right? I want to see like, I think that a lot of people overlooked some of these launches because a lot of people only saw the FDV and they were like, oh man, like FDV is already high, so I'm not going to buy it, right? And I know we covered the V1 tokenomics, or the change in tokenomics that will take place here over the next few. I think actually it's already in place. I think it's already in place. So I like that they've shifted because it will kind of help discovery of these tokens to be a little bit more explosive, and I think that'll also lead to good price, solid price action as well. So Let's see how this plays out here over the next, call it a couple of weeks, and let's go from there. What I'm really looking at on the Sword platform, just going by the some of these curated, still very bullish on CPT. I think DFTV is going to be a sleeper as well. This has like huge backing. Don't forget, some of the core team at USDT at Tether, they invested in DFTV. So I think this is something to pay attention to. And there's a ton of lore to dig into here. And it's only like 300K market cap, 200K market cap. So definitely something to, keep your eyes on. And then we also have, their most recent launch, AIM. But right now, CPT is like, 1.4 million or something. No, it's under a million market cap right now. DFTV also under, is about 200K. AIM, I want to say, is even sub 100K at this point. Yeah. So there's a lot of these launches that, the eyes from the much broader, there's a core community that want to invest, see the value in these projects. But I think CT just hasn't caught on. So I think at this point, we're pretty much still early, and it looks like yo, Josh, this guy Chill is the best in the business. I see the comments here in the MCG chat. I think Josh is watching. What's up, Josh? Hope you guys are doing well out there in Dubai. But yeah, CPT has alpha incoming. If you guys were in the TG, in the Telegram chat, or in the Telegram channel, you got some alpha on CPT, but it looks like we have even more alpha coming. So excited about that, but excited about just in general SOAR projects, and just kind of waiting for them to pick up. Josh says it's midnight. I am gassed. Jet lag is real. Dude, I hear you, dude. Jet lag is nothing to play with. I had my first experience with that in August when we went out to London and Italy, and we went to we did a few other countries as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think Croatia was one of them. But anywho, I know about that jet lag, bro. That jet lag it can get you. I slept for like 18 hours, or was it like 14, something like that. But I was asleep for over 12, like well over 12 hours, bro. So, dude, get some sleep. Definitely get some rest, bro. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe out there, and hope you guys are enjoying your time. Speaking of Met Dhabi and Dubai. Looks like Meteora had some huge updates for that they wanted to share with the community here, and they announced at Met Dhabi yesterday that the Met token will have some updates. So let's read this. Let's read this tweet here real quick. We don't have to go through the full thing, but you kind of get the base of it. They've done a $10 million+ buyback, resulting in 2.3% of the Met token supply being bought back off the market. So here's the full kind of 411 on this. It says the Met token has always been the heart of the protocol. We feel that making decisions now about the Met token will limit our flexibility, which is ultimately bad for token holders. We've decided to focus in the long run on what works, growing revenues, optimizing expenses, and returning value to token holders, all while communicating clearly on Meteor's financials and numbers. We've begun doing so in Q4 2025 by spending $10 million in USDC in buybacks, accumulating 2.3% of the total supply. Going forward, we'll be conducting discretionary buybacks here from the same wallet. As you can see, the wallet is listed here. They said, but that's not all. They also wanted to talk about the token was designed to tie to the product. It says we're taking the first step with the Meteora economy. Comment points are a new, unique, consumable point system tied into the core product. Earn comments by staking Met and using the product. With this, we aim to introduce an economy of things you can get with your comments, such as airdrops, pre-sales, off-chain redemption store, purchasing LP coaching services, and more. This new economy will unlock many possibilities and options for Meteora and the community. So looks like basically, they'll be buying back the token, discretion, doing discretionary buybacks, but their focus will be on the core business. And here's what I'm getting from this. They'll do discretionary buybacks, but then they'll also be just focusing on the business, growing revenue, making sure that value is flowing back to the company, and in turn, through buybacks, that value will flow back. That value will flow back to token holders. So, what are my takeaways? During the Franz interview just a little bit ago, um, during the interview here from Franz, we talked a little bit about what can give tokens value. And what can give tokens value? Buybacks, buybacks, revenue, um, equity backed, equity anchored. And then we also talked about like the debt structure. And there was one more as well, ownership through the MetaDAO, through the MetaDAO kind of futarchy model. So there's a few ways that you can give these coins value, and I think buybacks is kind of the route that they're going with. But what they're saying is we're going to grow the company, and this is just the beginning. So they actually could introduce some more utility. So very bullish on Met. Lastly, let's just real quick close this segment out by looking at the Met chart. Let's see how Met is doing. Let's see. Let me pull this up real quick. Boom, boom. All right, here's the MetaDAO, or the Meteora, not Meta, the Meteora chart. So still, I think undervalued below 3 cents. It kind of broke this key support here. So we'll see if the dip gets bought up. I think it's kind of reacting to kind of broader market conditions with the pullback that we experienced recently on Bitcoin. So let's see how this balances out. But I think a bottom could be starting to be formed here. That is my opinion anyway. Outside of that, I see that you guys are saying Surf Cash is now live. It's at 1 million and pumping. Let's check that out. And I think we might even have Adam pop on. So let's if he pops on, I'll let you guys know. But for now, let's go to the Surf Cash chart. While I pull that up, I saw Ave popped in. Afternoon chill, been killing it, holding it down solo. Hey man, appreciate you. Just trying to hold things down, man. Usually Josh is on here. He usually helps out a ton with this as well. So definitely appreciate his help, because now it's like, dang, I can't, it's a lot to do by myself. But here's the Surf Cash chart. Wow. Yeah, it is pumping straight off launch. Looks like it launched at about 1 mil. It's at like 2 mil right now. And again, we might have Adam here pop in a little bit to kind of walk us through what's going on over there at Surf Cash. And I wonder if there's a tweet that I can pull up while we wait, because I'm sure Start Out Fun also made a tweet about Surf Cash. Let's see here. Live DD, live DD on stream. So looks like, yes, they did post about it. Surf by Surf Cash is now live. And looks like we can learn more at Star. So let's look at that real quick. Let's look at that real quick. So here, oh wow, looks like look at this, huh? So this is their full kind of page. I'm trying to see where the About Us, view upcoming episodes, the docs. Yes, let's look at the docs, shall we? No, that's the Start Fun docs. I wanted to see the Surf Cash docs. Let's see, Surf Cash. Here we go. So what are you building? You earning crypto and spending fiat. The gap between the two is costing you money and sanity. They got a wait list of over 13,000 users. Looks like they have 15% yield on stable coins, payments and QR codes. You can pay with crypto. You can pay merchants. Looks like they were looking to raise about 1 to 1.5 million in terms of capital from this raise. Let me go to their website real quick and let's see what we can glean from the website. I know we interviewed Surf Cash not too long ago, but really what I'm looking for here is just, can this like what's going to sustain this pump outside of just the narrative itself. And I'm excited to hear from the team to see what they have coming. Good question, Pepe. Would Surf Cash be comparable to Avicii? Let's bring up the team and ask them ourselves, eh? What's up, guys?
Yeah.
What's going
See
on,
you again.
gentlemen?
Good to be here.
Excited.
Again.
Absolutely,
Absolutely, man. Good to be back.
Getting a little bit of feedback, by the way, on the mic. But look, excited to have you guys back. We were actually just kind of going through just some details here. Walk us through launch days today. How are you guys feeling? How's the launch so far? It looks good if I'm looking at the chart.
Yeah, it's bullish vibes here in Abu Dhabi, and it's the launch day. Yeah, we know that everyone's focus is gonna be the chart, and yeah, we are hyped, super pumped.
Yeah, it's
And
nice. It's nice that you
Awesome.
we got like more than 399 co-owners of the bank yesterday, and these are increasing. So it's good.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
want to own their bank.
That's awesome, man. And we see projects like Avicii kind of like pioneering this neobanking meta. And definitely a lot of people love the chart, but a lot of people love the fundamentals as well, right? Like a lot of people are kind of looking to pay attention to, what kind of traction are you guys seeing already? I was just reading about it. I think you guys had like 13,000 plus signed up for the wait list. I mean, walk us through what kind of excitement you've seen from the community, from like the user side. Who's excited to use this and how are they expressing that?
So first thing, our waitlist got started when, as we mentioned, that we faced the problem ourselves. And I used to use the underground payment groups I mentioned. I used to send people crypto, and they used to pay fiat on my behalf. So I just shared the link in one of those payment groups, and boom, the waitlist was pumping super high. So yeah, we have these kind of peoples rather than taking the route of shilling tokens or shilling the project. We want the people to focus on the fundamental problem, which is there in all the developing countries. So yeah, most of the
and I guess
yep.
No, finish your thought first. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the community members are the potential users, and most of them are the ones who have gone through this pain.
Yeah, and we launched yesterday the announcement that we are opening the Filipino market, which is very large. It's like the second crypto market, most friendly crypto market. Like we are already live in the Philippines. Like when people get access to the app, they will go able to be live in the Philippines. We have a very young population. Like most of the people there are 25 years old. Most of the people there are in crypto. Most of the people there are crypto gamers. Like Gcash, which is like the local QR code payments, have like almost 100 million people. And like the Philippines is one of the largest market for remittances. Like we have like $40 billion going every year to the Philippines from abroad. So if we just capture 1% of that market, that will be like $300 million, like in volume. So we are very bullish on the Philippines, and also we are very bullish on Vietnam, because like people are already like trying the app on the test flight, and it's working very smooth. We have the cheapest fees in the market, and that's what we want. We want the lowest fees in the market. We want the best user experience, and on top of that, we state that we don't want to use cards, because when you use cards, you have to pay the forex fees, you have to pay the machine fees, and you also need to pay the card fees. So we want that money to go to the pockets of the co-owners of our bank, instead of going to these large corporations that are traditionally taking our money, because they use the traditional old-fashioned system that is not serving us any longer. We need to be able to use these technologies that are there, and that's the promise of financial freedom of crypto, which can get broken when you try to pay for stuff in real life and you get you have to like overpay for stuff. So we don't want that to happen. And another thing is, yeah, that's why we take that approach. We are also focusing on having a very, very good customer service. You know, like usually crypto payments, crypto financial apps and stuff, the customer service sucks. You know, like you need to wait for a lot. You don't have like proper attention to your thing. So we really want to be like the bank of the people, the bank that you use for traditional things in, as I said, in Vietnam, the Philippines, and very soon also in Brazil. So customer service will be a big part of our journey, because that's it. We need to be useful, simple, fast, reliable, and we are going for it. And it will be a very exciting journey. We really have big plans for the next 3 years. Like our roadmap is very clear. We expect to have over 300,000 users by the end of the third year, and with a good volume that will put us in a very, very, very solid position. Like that's where we are aiming for, like to be a unicorn, like a new bank unicorn when it comes to valuation. We just need to read like a 35 multiple number there, income market cap valuation, which is pretty similar to Nubank. So I guess like when we're gonna make like 35 million ARR, I think we will get there. But this is just the beginning, and we will get there. We have a solid roadmap. And our user acquisition costs are very low, you know. So yeah, so that's why we do the local activations, distribution through our partners, and also the underground payment groups. So we are going with people are feeling the pain, and we felt the pain. Like I felt the pain in Vietnam when I was renting a motorbike. I had to pay cash. How do I get cash? I need to go to a MoneyGram. I wasted 2-3 hours going for their super expensive fees. How do I pay the rent? I need to also pay cash. How do I do that? The same, MoneyGram. Okay, and if someone from Vietnam or something does the favor for me, then I need to pay him on PayPal, you know, because PayPal is like the mainstream thing to use. Everyone knows it. But the thing is, like, when someone borrows you money in Brazil or in the Philippines or in Vietnam, one of your local friends, to pay for stuff, and then you are paying them back. You know, let's say you are in a dinner restaurant and they didn't take cards, they didn't take any of that, and your friend pays for you, and then you are going to pay them back. PayPal locks the funds for 3 weeks, you know, so it's a bit annoying, and it's also expensive and inconvenient. So we felt the pain, we found the solution, and right now the name of the game is speed of distribution, getting that volume up, and the monthly revenue user, the monthly number of active users up, you know, and having people to get the yield on their money and stuff. So we are very excited. We are very excited, and things are happening as we plan it, and we're gonna keep delivering, you know.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. You guys seem to be well on your way to some pretty big things here with Surf Cash. And you mentioned that you guys are looking to expand to 300,000 users in the next, was it 3 years?
Yeah, that's
Correct
our
me if
goal.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, year third,
Okay.
over 300,000 users. Yes.
Got
So
you.
we expect.
So kind of what?
Yeah. No, sorry. You can talk. Sorry.
No, you're okay. So kind of walk me through just the process to scale. And I guess this would include what we see on the screen here, with the kind of QR code for payment. I know that's a very key piece to what you guys offer as well. So kind of walk us through, how does this thing scale? How do you guys plan to do that? But also, how do you do that by means of these QR codes?
Yeah. Okay. So just to be clear about the numbers, we expect to finish 2026 with over 50,000 users in our app, and then we will do over 150,000 users by the year 2, and that's how we will get to 300,000 users, if not more. Hopefully, it will be more than that, but those are the numbers there. And as we said before, the name of the game is speed of distribution. That's why we are going to all the underground payment groups in Telegram and stuff, where you send them crypto and they pay for you in fiat, or they give you the fiat. We are doing the local activations. So pop-ups are very popular. So we are going to the beaches. We are going to the shopping malls. We are going where the people are feeling the pain. We are going next to the Western Unions, you know, like we are going to show up where people are there. I'm like, dude, why are you getting your money through Western Union? You can just get your remittances to the Surf Cash wallet, and you can pay with your crypto wherever you are, you know? So we are going to do that. And also a big one about speed of distribution is to partner with the people that already have the users that we want. We want travelers that use crypto. We want local crypto earners. And we also want the local, like the digital nomads, you know, that use crypto. So these 3 large populations of people, we said before is like the market is over 75 million people. That's a potential market. And then the market is growing, like these populations are growing like 300, like over 200% year over year. So how do we speed up the distribution? We partner with already organizations that have those user base, So that's what we mentioned. For example, Certify, my EdTech company, which has a user base of over 800,000 users. So we are gonna see how to get to those user base. That's why we partnered with like big hostels change. That's why we partnered with big like co-working spaces, with big communities that already have these people on their communities. So we don't go one by one, but we reach the organizations that already have like a large volume of users that will benefit from our solution, because there is nothing like this in the market, And we take very serious our job, like we understand that we are building a bank, so we wanna project trust and reliability to the users. We want them to feel comfortable and sure that we are giving them security, speed, low cost, best customer service, and on top of that, they can tag along on the journey and own the bank they use, which is fantastic. We take this opportunity very serious. We are very grateful for it, and we are gonna go super, super, super hard to make it. And we have great ideas. We have the team is ready. We have the marketing. We have the customer service. We have the development team. We have the business development team. We have all the legal part also very, very aligned. And also big shout out for the Startup Fund team. They have been amazing. All of them are polymaths. All of them know about design, about marketing, about storytelling, about technology. So we are also learning a lot from them. And I think we will be a very creative way of growing a business, and hopefully people will like it. That's the goal. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I love the way you explain that. I guess the question that I had as well, just going, because we actually were talking a little bit about you guys the other day, and we were talking about how that kind of QR code system that you guys have for means of payment is a huge unlock. And I know initially you guys were focused on Latin America, but we're actually talking about Asia during this conversation. So I love to see that you guys are expanding to the Philippines, because I think there's a huge market for that out there as well.
Yeah. So I can tell you how this idea came about. Like I live in Sweden. I did my master's degree in Sweden, and in economic history, by the way. So I love entrepreneurship and innovation, because literally we shape the future, like we create the future. It's entrepreneurs that we bring those technologies and we make them massive. And in Sweden, for more than 20 years, if not more, existed Swish. So all the banks in Sweden, they said, guys, let's just get all together and launch one QR code so we save people the card fees. Like Sweden is a very innovative country. Everyone knows that. Like they are one of the highest number of entrepreneurs, like global class entrepreneurship there, global class innovation. 20 years ago, the banks there said, guys, let's get all together, all the banks, and let's launch one unified QR code for everyone. And that's how they save so much money. They are super smart. They know that they don't want to give their money to Visa or MasterCard, So they launched this unified QR code initiative. And then we said, guys, if we want to use cards, we need to charge people to use the cards, We need to charge people to get the cards. Then we need to take the money from the people to pay the card machine, the card fees, the Forex fees, which sometimes also includes hidden fees, because these things are not like written over paper. Like every transaction has different fees, And also we crypto people, we get scam everywhere. So we were like, you know what? Let's do the simplest, most effective, cheapest way of using your crypto in real life, which is like USDC to local payment rails, QR codes. So we saw that in Brazil, like trillions of dollars are moved every year using PIX. We know that PIX was a massive success there. We know Viet QR was a massive success in Vietnam, and we have Gcash in the Philippines. In Colombia, for example, we have Bribe now. So in all emerging markets, they are realizing, why should we keep giving our money to the cards company? Why should we keep the legacy in the crypto world if the crypto world promise is financial freedom? We shouldn't depend on anyone. That's why we have a self-custodial wallet. We shouldn't depend on anyone. We are depending on the blockchain. That's and on the internet. So more freedom. And that's how the QR codes came about. And then, of course, if we are trying to build a neobank, we have earning, lending, borrowing, and paying. So those four fundamentals need to run smoothly in our app. Yeah, so that's the story about how the QR codes came about. Yeah.
That's excuse me, that's so awesome because you know, it's kind of these shifts in structure, these shifts in approach to different markets is really important. Like you said, as entrepreneurs to spot the opportunity, but also build something that can result and can really result in you know a much better offering to the public. And I think that's exactly what you guys are doing here. You guys are innovating on that model, and I think you guys are the first, at least that I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you guys are the first to actually focus on the QR code side of things. I mean, we see more so like cards and stuff like that being pushed, but you know, I think in Asia and in a lot of different areas in Asia, Latin America, that you know, QR codes are really the way to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to add one thing. So I used
Sure.
yeah, I was traveling through Asia and I was also frustrated. So I came across a solution called Moreta Pay, and that's backed by YC, but it requires you to have a US bank account, and it works only on business QR codes, not on personal QR codes. So you cannot pay your rent with that thing. And people did try to build solutions, but they overlooked on crypto. And this is how crypto unlocks financial freedom for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we can that USDC is the cheapest and fastest way to transfer US dollars to anyone anywhere, and I can't believe how people overlooked at it. And yeah, the solution we are building, we wanted to reach to the people who are facing issues while losing around 10% in ATM fees. An average nomad loses around $1,200 on ATM fees in like 2 years or something. There was a start like that. So we want
yeah.
it's like 1 or 2 months runway.
Yeah,
for
and
them.
I
Yeah.
also wanted to mention that we are very cost efficient. You know, the
Hmm.
reason you see the banks and the new banks raising so much money is because they need to pay so much money for marketing, like activations. They pay so much money, they pay everyone because they don't offer low fees, because they don't offer a good quality service, and also because they need to pay the cards company, you know? So we are very cost efficient. Our growth to market strategy, the best one will be word of mouth. You know, like why do you use, I'm not even gonna say names, why do you use them instead of using us? Like 0.5% fees. That's crazy. So that's why we are very cost efficient, and we are and on top of that, everything we have said, we have the futarchy model, which is this innovative way of governance where people can own the bank, people can vote on the proposals, people can decide.
Literally read my mind. Literally read my mind. I wanted to actually kind of talk a little bit about the ownership model, how that works. So just for the audience to know, kind of explain a little bit the model that results in, you know, token holders being able to actually own the bank.
Okay, so we are in the process of setting up an entity in Marshall Islands, and the it the jurisdiction allows a smart contract to be the literal owner of the company, to be the literal director of the company. So all the token holders, they own company from governance even to that company's IP. So the IP of Surfcash is owned by token holders, which were 399 owners by when we closed the raise yesterday. They are even increasing. More and more people are owning the IP, the company, and the bank, and they have total rights to make decisions. So even the decision making and is owned by the token holders.
Yeah, if something feels too risky, people can say, guys, let's not do that. If something feels very attractive for everyone, people can say, yeah, let's do that. And that's very exciting, actually, for everyone, you know, because we can all tag along the journey, feel the ups, the downs, and own the bank. And I think it's very exciting what's going on in crypto right now. We are very happy. It feels like the world is healing, you know. We just came out of a very long journey with the meme coin season, and we, the real founders, we felt like left out of that cycle because we couldn't understand how. I mean, memes are insane, right? It's an insane technology, like memetics and all of this is
Yep.
fantastic. Like social dynamics, it's fantastic, right? It's really fantastic. But what about the communities? What about the real people? What about someone that has been working so hard in the US, like Sunday to Sunday, cleaning bathrooms, sending the money to their family in the Philippines, and then You have Western Union, you have all the cards company, you have all the remittances fees are taking a cut of that. Why? So people work really hard for the money. Why these companies keep like taking their money away? So we are building for the community, for the real people, so that's also something that very, very much inspires us.
Absolutely. I think that's really beautiful. One thing that I wanted to go through as well, just looking at a few things on the website here, was this 15% APY. I mean, if anyone has a savings account in TradFi or really any any larger bank, it's like 0.5%. It's very negligible, something that we don't even need to look at. A lot of times you're better off like tossing that into something else, like a money market fund. But even then, that's only like 3 to 5%. This is 15%. That's well beyond what you're getting. Talk to us a little bit about like where this APY comes from and how users can access it.
Okay, so in the app we have the staking feature, and it's not token staking; it's staking the USDC. So you can deposit USDC, and based on Perena, we have got an amazing partnership with Perena, which are doing an incredible job. They've got USD Star, and the APY is super high. It's up to 15% APY, depending on the market conditions, but it's even now it's like 14.8%. So, and plus they get the APY from delta neutral strategies and fees. So, and plus another thing to add, that the USD Star is an AMM from USDC, USDT, and PyUSD, and it balances itself. It's super safe, and it's an innovation from Perena that we are able to offer such good APY, and not even that high risk which you see usually in DeFi and even in lending borrowing.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. I mean, you guys have a very well-rounded product. You're going after a pretty big market here, and I think that's also something else that I wanted to touch on really briefly. I want to respect your time. It's launch day. There's a lot of moving pieces here, so I don't want to keep you too long. But just talk to us a little bit about the market at large. I mean, we have several neo-banking protocols coming out. There's obviously competition in this space. You guys found your edge, you found your moat, but talk a little bit about the market and how big that is, because we see banks in the real world. There are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of banks in the world that operate. So obviously there's a very big market. And I would say for neo-banking, I would say the market is even larger than what the market for traditional banks, right? So talk to us a little bit about the broader market and kind of how you guys want to establish yourself there.
Yeah, so our company is called Surfcash, right? The bank is called Surfcash. So we have a triangle of three groups, populational groups. One is local crypto earners in all the emerging markets. Local crypto earners, like people that do gaming, people that pay for like get salaries in crypto, like local crypto earners, local Vietnamese, local Filipinos, local Brazilians, local Colombians, like this type of local people that are earning in crypto, which is growing. It's growing like over 200% year over year. Then we have the tourists, around 20% of all the tourists around the world, which is also growing every year. More people are traveling. 20% of them use crypto, hold crypto, invest in crypto, no crypto, So we want to allow them to spend their crypto when they visit all these emerging markets. And the third pillar of our triangle is the digital nomads, Digital nomads, by default, they are the ones that like crypto the most, because they understand the power of financial freedom. They understand the fundamentals of freedom, like they strive for freedom. So as I said before, this triangle is over 75 million people and growing every year between 200 and 300%. So this is the target market we're aiming for. And as I said, with just 300,000 users of those, like using a volume of around $1,000 to $2,000, we are generating over $30 million in revenue, and that with a multiple of 30 to 35, which is the same multiple of Nubank right now. Nubank is a neobank from Brazil that is took over the whole Brazil. It destroyed the other traditional banking offerings. They use a multiple of 35, so that's how we can get to $1 billion valuation company, But the important thing is the amount of people that we can serve. That's the amount of people. And then on the sidelines, by spillovers, we have the remittances market, when people start, like we plan for these groups, our go-to-market is for this group, but there are spillovers of other groups, populational groups, that once they hear about us, the user base of our population will be way larger than 75 million people. As I said, we have $40 billion sent to the Philippines every year. That's just the Philippines, So the market is huge. It's just growing. Like neobanks are here, and now we have crypto neobanks, and now we have future key ownership. So the market just keep growing, and even if we have competitors, the market is way too big. People were saying,
Right.
okay, what if the other ones decide to launch QR codes? Good for them. Good for them. The market is too big. Like in Brazil, we have over 200 million people. I'm sure that I know they will not reach everyone. We will go fast. That's why we talk about going with speed. But speed means not just burning cash like crazy, being super smart, the strategic alliances with organizations that already have a large user base, that's how we are going to approach them. And we don't need to keep pouring money into marketing. We just need to show ourselves. They need to know that there is a solution called SurfCash that charges you 0.5% fees in Vietnam, for example. They just need to know about us, and then boom, they will use us. And that's our plan, Speed is the name of the game here. Yeah.
I'd like to add just one more thing, that
Sure.
even for this market, it's going to end up like having 2 or 3 big players in every region. Like we have Visa and MasterCard, which are global, but they are Union Pay and JCB. I think it's in China. It's also in some regions. So we're going to have 1 or 2 big players, and either we become one of them, which we are on our way, since we got the first mover advantage. And second is to join one of, so in case Visa and MasterCard start to look into the QR markets, so of course they'll rush to acquire us. So,
Exactly. Like it's the merchant acquisition games in this market is insane.
Yeah,
it's insane, dude. It's insane. It's money.
Wait.
So it's very, very
let's dig into this real quick. I think some people might have just missed what you just said. So
Yeah.
this QR code game, we're still really early in this. The big incumbent players, they haven't really caught on. You guys have basically created an offering to the public that many people can use globally. And what you're saying is, if they want to access this QR code game, they could either build something themselves, or they can do what every company really does: acquire other companies to add to their tech stack. And so potentially, based on your growth, that's something that you guys can do, because essentially you guys aren't just a neobank, but you're also focused on other things as well, like remittances. And so that's kind of in line. Am I getting all this correct?
You are getting it all correct. The merchant acquisition game in the financial world is huge, dude. It's huge. And these guys, like, bro, the evaluation of Visa, the evaluation of MasterCard, the evaluation of JP Morgan, the evaluation of this huge Citigroup, all these guys, they don't want to be left out. That's why we have conversations with MasterCard innovation team. They want to know what's going on. So they don't want to be left out. And for them, it's easier to acquire a company, fast and growing company, than to build their own solution, because they don't know this stuff. They don't know Futarchy, they don't know neobank, they don't know USDC to local QR code payments. They don't know that you can get an amazing yield using Perena. They don't know this stuff. That's our advantage. Like, we are very crypto native people, and we are at the edge of innovation. We are like opening the forest with our own hands. So that's what makes this very exciting. We are not growing out of fear. We are growing out of curiosity. We will see every step of the way how the market reacts. Like yesterday, we have so many amazing reactions. Like we had amazing good moments yesterday when people got it. It's so easy. It's so easy to get it. But people were like, wow, this looks super good. So now is prime time to deliver, and we are very, very, very energized for that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's something that is pretty big. It's something not to lose sight of, especially with a protocol like this one. We had a question here in chat, and by the way, chat, if you guys have any other questions, we got the team here, so feel free to just drop them. We'll ask. We'll make sure to get that and address it. But one question that we had here was the affiliation with Circle. I guess a lot of people are looking. They're seeing that you're kind of backed by Coinbase. Talk to us a little bit more about that affiliation. And good question, Karo. Appreciate you joining the stream.
Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. So we were looking into the solutions about giving users self-custody while and security and having them best way to access their funds. And we came across Circle's programmable wallets. We were a part of Circle's USDC grants program. We got some grant support, and we Circle team helps us with the product support, tech support, and everything, plus co-marketing. So we've already got that, and we were a part of. You can see the announcement on our Twitter or Circle's Twitter as well. And now we also have another big announcement coming up with Circle, and so we are actually waiting for a KYB for that, and it should be by this week, or yeah, we are hoping to get it live by this week. And Circle team is still connected with us, and they help us for the product part and the tech part and development part.
One important thing to
Wow.
mention is that we
Mhm.
have gasless transactions. I think we haven't mentioned much, but we have gasless transactions. You know, like people can send from one wallet to the other one without needing to have Sol in their wallets. You see what I mean? This is very important feature as well. Yeah. So we are at the
Is that
cutting
like
edge
a
of wallets.
is that like account abstraction? Is that kind of leaning on that side of things with the gasless transactions, or
Okay,
I'm just trying to
a
yeah.
bit technical is that when you are making a Solana transaction, you can specify a pair, and so yeah, technically we pay for the gas fees, for transaction fees. Yeah,
Got it.
and
Okay, nice, nice. Hmm.
to add that there is no way to access the cards, to use crypto cards with self custody. And if there is, I would be very interested in knowing that, since there's no way, because these are with Rain and Reap, a bunch of partners, so they need to be custodial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Got it. Got it.
Mhm.
Wow, guys, I think this is actually it's actually pretty huge. So again, just to kind of summarize for the audience and make sure we're getting this clear, you guys have an open communication with the Circle team. You guys are actively working together, and there's some sort of announcement coming this week around
Yes.
that, and we're getting that correctly. Okay, wow, awesome. Well, look, excited for you guys. If you guys want to, debut that news here on MCG, feel free. We always welcome you guys back. We've loved what we were seeing from our first interview with you guys. I mean, I think this is what, the second, maybe third, I think second time you guys have been on the show.
Yeah.
It's always been a pleasure.
Yep, always good to be here.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
man. Much.
of course, man. But look, guys, I know it's launch day. There's a lot of moving pieces. I appreciate you guys, kind of taking some time out here to come on stream, kind of debut the product, talk to us a little bit about it. Appreciate you guys coming on. Any last words that you want to leave with the folks at home? Anything anything exciting, get them amped up.
Help to spread the word. Stop giving the money to the car companies, to the car machines, to the people that are already very rich, and they don't care about innovation. They just care about maintaining the position of power. And let's just bring the new financial freedom. Let's fulfill the promise of crypto financial freedom. We have many good things coming up, and we are gonna, like, we feel blessed for this opportunity. Like, we are founders, and we feel like, okay, guys, now you have the chance to shine. You go. So we are off to the races now, and the team is good. The motivation is amazing, and we are gonna cook. That's it. So join us on the bank. Stop giving your money away on fees, and just, if you have people in Vietnam, in the Philippines, or in Brazil, just let them know about us. And yeah, let's fulfill the promise of crypto financial freedom properly. That's it.
Sounds good, guys. Cheers. Look, appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on, and can't wait to see what you guys build out here over the coming months. Looking forward to it.
Thank you,
Cheers.
bro. Cheers. Yo. Bye.
Deuces. Wow. Wow. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I think that was a pretty massive interview. I mean, look, they say they have an open communication. They say they have open communication with the Circle team, and they will be making an announcement here later on this week. So excited for that. I don't like pulling up charts and stuff like that. I don't like pulling up charts while the teams are on the show with us. But I like to look at them after the interview. I like to look at the charts, man. You guys know me. I'm a chart person. I like the TA. I like the analysis. And what I do like as well is the fundamentals. And I think from everything that we've seen, I kind of like Surf Cash here. Not gonna lie, kind of like that as a trade. I know I'm not really trading actively right now, but you know, this definitely is an interesting setup. So I'll be watching for, you know, any pullbacks or anything like that. But how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about that interview and what we covered? Let me know in chat how you guys feel about it. Let me know if you have any questions. Also, any tickers that you want me to review. That's what we like to do here. So we are for any of the new viewers, I see we had you know, a few hundred of you guys actually join us. So welcome to MCG. We are the biggest, largest ICM show in crypto, period. We are the highest alpha per minute crypto ICM show in crypto. So appreciate you guys joining us. We review projects, we review we interview builders, we interview traders, we get people on here to not only talk about what they're building, how they're trading, but we also want to talk about you know, where markets are headed overall. So appreciate you guys for joining us. Let me know in the comments. King Chain, what's that 27% bundle on Surf? Got no idea. It launched actually while we were on stream today. What's up? By the way, what's up with that? Like, everything is launching while the stream is live. I have no idea what that's all about. But 27% bundle, not sure. I wish you would have asked. I wish you would have got that question in just a little bit earlier before we let the team go. But I don't really know. I got to dig into that. I have to see, like, you know, what the tokenomics are and all that good stuff. Still more research to be done. So yeah, I still got to look into that one. Just saw it. Oh yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It literally just launched. I have no idea. So I just figured, hey, let's just get them on the stream, have them walk us through what they're building. But yeah, I got to look into the on-chain side of things, because I believe this isn't a bonding curve model from what I understand. And I guess I wish we can get Adam on here as well, but I don't think we can. I wish we could have got Adam on here to kind of walk us through the tokenomics a little bit. But yeah, no, looking absolutely fantastic here. Price action is looking good as well. But yeah, appreciate the question, King Chain. If you come back next stream, I'll see if I can, you know, get some details about the tokenomics a little bit here, because that's something I'm like, I know the SOAR tokenomics, I know the MetaDAO tokenomics generally speaking, but I'm not super familiar with the Startup Fund tokenomics. So yeah, I got to do a little bit more digging on that one. But yeah, guys, looking great. Anything else you guys want me to review? We went through a lot today, man. We went through the Surf launch. We went through the latest SOAR launch as well. We got a lot of alpha out of this stream. Let me know how you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want us to review. But overall, pretty outside of the launch, the couple of launches that happened, pretty slow market overall. Not gonna lie, pretty slow market. Not much happening, you know. So let me know if you guys are seeing anything else. But we went through quite a bit here today. I can't wait for that Surf Cash announcement, whatever that may be. Let me see real quick. I want to check on something. Let's see. I'm trying to do some like live DD on the tokenomics, King Chain. See if I can spot anything. Let me see, but anyone, let's see here. Bot average market cap. Looks like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I gotta dig into that a little bit more. I gotta dig into the tokenomics a little bit more, King Chain. But great question. Great question. Let's real quick as we wrap up today's stream. Again, appreciate you guys for joining up. It's been great just to kind of just chop it up, talk markets with you guys, talk markets with the boyfriends today. Excellent interview. Let's check in real quick on CT. Looks like CT is still bullish on Avicii, as they should be. Let's check in on OMFG here. I know OMFG has been on a nice little heater here. Let's check in on the OMFG chart. Let's see how it's looking right now. Let's go to the 12-hour. Man, look at that thing. Josh has been all over OMFG and Umbra, but looks like OMFG is up like what, 2x off the bottom, 3x actually. Wow, that's a pretty nice move there for OMFG. I think their mainnet is coming up as well, so looking pretty good there. What else? Let's see. So OMFG mainnet isn't live just yet. He mentions IL hedging is a main use case, and permanent loss hedging is one of the holy grails of AMM design. Everyone has tried, nobody has solved it. If OMFG becomes the first AMM where their LPs can hedge impermanent loss natively inside the pool, they will change the entire industry. And he explicitly says this is the team's next challenge to solve in V2, meaning Omnipair is literally aiming at one of the biggest unsolved problems in AMMs. He also highlights that within these LPs, you can hedge, loop leverage, delta neutral strategies, have leverage yield farming, perp-like exposures, and so much more. So he looks like it's the entire tech stack that Aave, GMX, Pendle, Morpho, etc. have built over the years, except Omnipair does it permissionlessly, Oracle-lessly, and even for long tail assets, which is basically no one else has done. So wow, a lot being done here. A lot being done here by Omnipair. Looking good. The homie Dapo, he looks like he's in on the Surf Cash trade. Looks like Surf Futarki Launchpad at 1.5 mil. Surf Cash Neobank launch via Star and just raised 758K. Star seems undervalued. Let's take a look at the Star chart real quick. I've been seeing a few people kind of talk about this Star trade. Let's take a look here. Loading. Chart is loading. Let's see. Star. Here's the Star chart. We charted this out we charted this out like I think a few weeks ago. And looks like we're up pretty significantly off this bottom. Let me real quick here. Just refresh. Let me reload this chart. Let's see if we can have a nice clean look on the daily. Yeah, we're leaving this accumulation zone here. I guess the question is the upside for this chart. Like what's the upside? Kind of hard to calculate. I have to, because as a launch pad, really the way you project value of the launch pad would be by means of the launches that happen, right? We've seen one launch so far, but I don't really know what their pipeline looks like specifically. So I'd love to see a little bit more of what the pipeline, what they have coming, like, even if it's not like specific what the project will be, but just overall things that they're working on, etc. So but I mean, if this is any indication with their launch with Surf, I mean, backed by Circle, you know what I mean? They have open communication. They have announcements coming with Circle as well. So if that is any indication of what the BD looks like on Star, the BD pipeline looks like on Star, it looks like we could possibly have some trades. That we could have a trade on our hands here with Star, and maybe even with Surf Cash as well. So I'll keep monitoring that over the next coming days and weeks. We'll keep a tab on that. Let's see here. What else? Looks like a lot of people are bullish on this Franklin. I keep seeing it on my timeline, bro. Franklin. What is this? Is it like a meme coin or something? Um, I don't know what Franklin is, but apparently a lot of people are playing out this peanut fractal, this whole idea that, you know, Franklin could be a pretty big winner. So I don't know. We'll kind of see how that plays out a little bit here. Let's see. So this is the Franklin chart. I kind of see, is this like could we even say a falling wedge? Maybe. Kind of. That's just kind of how I would just look. I'm just looking at the chart. Like I'm not really saying like it's a good buy, bad buy, or anything like that. I'm just purely looking at chart volume, high volume chart. From what I know, there's a lot of, you know, all my meme coin guys are really into this one. 12 mil market cap, a little high, but could be good for like you know, if you like scalp trading type thing, you know, catch a quick, you know, 60 to 200% move, depending on how quickly these things move. But yeah, we had this whole conversation of how, you know, buying the pullbacks on some of these meme coins isn't really that bad of an idea, right? Like, you know, these things could be they could be worth buying back. It could be worth they could be worth like buying bottoms, I should say, not buying back, buying bottoms, buying pullbacks. All right, so that's that. Let's see here. What else are we? Oh, look at that MCG. Oh, Dapo. Oh, shoot. Dapo retweeted us. That's crazy. Shout out the homie, bro. Shout out Dapo. Chad retweeting the spaces. Oh yeah, news. Breaking ICM news that we covered on MCG. Looks like the CFTC is withdrawing outdated digital asset guidance. So let's read this real quick. I think this is kind of goes back to the conversation that we had earlier with friends. Looks like the CFTC is going to eliminate outdated and overly complex guidance that penalizes the crypto industry and stifles innovation. And they said today's announcement shows that with decisive action, real progress can be made to protect Americans. The withdrawal of the guidance enables the CFTC to continue its ongoing work to implement the recommendations of the president's working group. So again, I mean, regulation continues to kind of align with what we want. We continue to see that, you know, the Trump administration, they want to push crypto. So when Trump says and Bessent says and the whole administration says they're bullish on 2026, they say they're going to pump the stock market. They say they want lower rates. They're going to get a Fed chair to cut those rates lower. Look, that means bullish 2026. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, bear market incoming, 4-year cycle, da 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 da. When the people with the keys, when the people in control tell you, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, it's in our interest to listen. Earlier this year, Trump said, yo, we're going to give the stock market, the economy, it's a patient, it's sick, we need to give it medicine. Tariffs, pullback, markets were garbage. Then in April, Trump said, this is a great time to buy. Stock market ripped. He literally bottom ticked it. And now he's telling you we're bullish 2026. I don't care what happens. And so I'm just saying, like, if he's telling us what he's doing, he's literally telegraphing it and doing that even more so with this breaking news from the CFTC. Oh, shoot. The White House is posting about Franklin. That's why this meme. Oh, shoot. It's the U.S. Department of Justice. What in the world? Yo, the DOJ is posting about our memes. What kind of timeline is this, guys? What are we talking about here? Yeah, so yeah, I guess this meme, there's more to it than meets the eye. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep tracking that. More bull posts about Avicii. It's minus 50%. Let's actually look at the Avicii chart real quick, because I think this is a really nice area to start scaling in if you haven't already. let's see here, $3.40. It pulled back all the way to all the way down there. Look, I mean, this ain't the time to be scared about the Vici, guys. Look at this chart, man. Look at this chart, bro. Pullback showing strength. And when you go to the daily real quick, I just want to see something. I want to see something. What's the, yeah, pull back to about the golden pocket. If we want to say that's the low, golden pocket, if we want to say that's the low, 0.786, if we want to say that's the low. I would say I would draw this bottom out from maybe even down here, but either way, great pullback on the fibs. Great pullback on the fibs. This chart is like one of the best. This is a good sized play right here. This is a really good size play. All right. What else we got? So whoa, more posts from about Franklin. This meme. Forbes, the Department of Justice posted a Fox book cover. Franklin becomes a deportation judge on social media Thursday. What are we talking about? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's, again, not much going on in markets right now. Just a bunch of talk about this Franklin meme, maybe another meme or two, some talk about the Surf Cash launch. What else are we talking about here? Bitcoin pumping. Looks like some people are expecting, a move higher, which I'm open to. If we want a real quick shift to Bitcoin, like, oh yeah, look, it's pumping again. I'm open to, again, like a pump all the way up here to the top of this channel, 97K. Like I'm open to that. I just hope that this isn't a bear flag that is forming here. That's what I would hope, because if we look at this chart, that's exactly what it looks like, right? Like if we go to the 12-hour, we just draw this out right here. Bang. Bang. That's a potential bear flag forming here. That is a potential bear flag forming. So just something for us to be aware of, something for us to just take note. Not saying it will play out, but this is what a bear flag would do, right? It would go up, down, just kind of bounce around within this and then dump. So we could end up grinding up, but if we just get continuation to this, like this low here, we could end up, we talked about this low as well. So we could end up retesting down here and then going for a move up, right? So just something to be aware of. Not saying it will happen. I'm not like I talked about in the Franz interview, I'm not in the business of, trying to predict price moves and all this stuff. That's not what I'm trying to do right now. What I'm trying to do currently is be aware of the circumstances, be aware of, the possibilities. Do I want us to pump? Absolutely. But do I think we're going to pump immediately? I don't think so. I don't, just based on what we see here. And I know we mentioned it a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but we had quite a few pop in since then. So real quick, for all you guys that kind of don't know where I stand in markets right now, here are the three things that I'm watching, and I've posted a little bit about this, but we saw a head and shoulders kind of play out a little bit here. It was forming a little bit on the 12-hour. We see this bear flag forming on the 12-hour, right? Potentially. We see that. take note of the red box. We have, we established this as resistance here, respected it here, respected it here, respected it here. So, I am noticing though, we have this uptrend, these lower lows that are forming here. I'm aware of that, right? I'm aware of that, but at the same time, just know that the broader structure that's forming here is a bear flag into resistance with a potential, head and shoulders forming. So it's just something to be aware of in a market that is choppy, because we have talked about this a little bit. And actually, I'll just use this chart real quick to really point this out. Let's see here. So when we look at the structure here versus the structure here, this is we're really revisiting a range that we were in before, right? We're really just revisiting this range. That's literally all it is. We have this range that we were in, and we revisited it. And like before, look at the pattern that we formed. Bear flag here, right? Like, look at the pattern that we formed, and we just bang until we hit our ultimate bottom, right? We hit our ultimate bottom here, and then we began to move up. And again, pump, consolidation, pump, consolidation, pump. This is consolidation, right? This is strength. That's what I'm looking for on the Bitcoin chart to confirm that, all right, cool, we just hit our bottom. Instead, what we have, just like we had here, you see this bear flag that's forming. That's exactly what we're seeing here. We're seeing a bear flag form, and we're not seeing, this kind of explosive price action like pump, consolidation, pump, consolidation. We haven't seen any evidence of that, playing out. So again, we can pump like as high as, call it 97K here. We can pump as high as 97K up here and have like a little bit of a relief bounce. But what we have to be aware of is just the overall broader structure, which is a bear flag. So we could end up doing exactly what we did here, right? We could pump, but we could dump this off, reset, and then go pump consolidation, right? Pump consolidation into 2026. And honestly, that might be what we end up doing. Like, I'm not opposed to this price action, just catch a few people off guard. A lot of people are expecting us to reject off of this 100K level. So even if we wick up to 100K and then we reject off that, go all the way back down, everyone says it's over. And then bang, we just begin the charge up. So that's what I'm looking for here. We're seeing the bear flag play out back there. We're seeing it playing out here. Not saying that this move up won't happen. It will, but we gotta resolve what the broader market is doing right now. So yeah. King Chain, does Surf Cash bounce here, or are we going to zero? Let's check on the Surf Cash chart. Let's see. Surf Cash. Bang. Let's see what's happening here with Surf Cash. Look like we're making higher lows, sir. Look like we're making higher lows. This is a 1 minute chart, so we got to take it with a grain of salt, but making higher lows so far. Yeah, I guess let's see. Yeah, kind of this like this up channel right here playing out on Surf Cash. So yeah, let's see. Honestly, usually what happens with launches, they do some price discovery, they sell off, and that's really the time to buy, is that sell off. Not saying that this will. I think if depending on their announcement, they said an announcement is coming out this week. It's already Thursday. So at a certain point, like I think they actually, could come out with something pretty huge here pretty soon. So we have to take that into consideration. But yeah, I mean, look, this man, look at that pump. Holy. Looks like we're doing some making some moves here with Surf Cash. Looking good, looking good. Let's check back in with CT, and we'll close this out in the next like 5-10 minutes. What do you guys say? Let me know if you want me to talk about anything else. Oh wow, this is actually pretty huge. Large tax breaks for corporations. That's going to actually be pretty huge. Let's see here. A lot of short-term bullishness here on Bitcoin, as well as on Fartcoin, I believe. Is this the Fartcoin? No, that's the Bitcoin chart. Yeah. And it looks like Mirage is kind of linking up with what I'm thinking here about the Bitcoin chart, kind of going up but then rejecting off that top line. Oh, FKH, man, FKH, another one that I've been kind of eyeing here a little bit. It's a meme. I don't really talk about like the memes and stuff like that, but if we're checking in on CT, just something I can, I guess, quickly highlight. But this one was showing some strength here. I was actually looking to get in and just never got the opportunity. Let's look at this chart. This chart is crazy. So Donnie actually talks a little bit more about FKH. I guess like the meme is connected to something that the White House has been pushing, like this narrative for 2026. And, I guess, with the connection with the World Liberty Fi and Bonk Fund, like, just kind of like great place here for them to, for this meme to kind of take off. But I basically saw it at this level here, at this sort of like 1 mil level. And I was like, man, like this thing pumped all the way from 140K to like 2 mil. I'm like, dude, we gotta have a pullback on this. There's no way. Like, I'm like, everything in the market has pulled back. So we gotta have a pullback on this. Lo and behold, this thing did not pull back. In fact, it just ended up going up faster. And I had a chance to get in, but I don't like buying tops, man. Not in these type of like bearish environments. So I held off, for better or for worse, right? Is what it is. But I'll be eyeing like pullbacks on this as well. So I'll let you guys know what I think about that. But yeah, it looks like Donnie looks like he's doing some things here. Man, Fartcoin is let's check out the Fartcoin chart real quick. Hold on. I don't remember it. Yeah, it kind of experienced the bounce, but I'm wondering, it's been holding a lot above this this just broader market structure break. On the daily, that market structure break broke, and it's been holding above it, but it's also been holding below this resistance area. Like we see that it tested this resistance here, even a little bit here, but definitely mostly here. It tested this resistance area. So this resistance has been holding, but this is the third test. And so far we see it's kind of making these higher highs, right? These higher, I should say these higher lows. Chill, how you find these runners early? Just following the right chads? Look, Bones said it best on our interview 2 days ago, right? Like, sometimes you can't keep an eye on everything in the market. It's all about your network. And to be honest, I've spent a long time during the bear market of 2022. Basically, since I had a zero portfolio, I was really just networking, man. I was just getting with chads, getting with people that are in the market and just talking to them, asking them about how they trade, how they learn. And, sometimes, like, again, like you can't keep an eye on the market on everything. So, eventually what happened was these guys helped me to keep up with everything that's going on. So, and it's all about providing value. I provide value in the ways that I do, kind of broader structure thoughts about the market, pivot points, things of that nature, and more. I've learned a lot more since then. But yeah, man, I mean, just following the right people, you know what I mean? And just having a network, That's it. So yeah, and the Chill got the insane network. I love it. I mean, look, I've spent the better half of 4 years building a network. So if I'm in crypto for 4 years, like, and I got nothing to show for it, it would be so like it would be so chopped. Like this would be so chalked, bro. But yeah, I told myself that, coming in, it's very important to kind of get get into the market, I know that 99% of traders don't make it, right? Like, listen to this. 99% of traders like don't make it. Not everyone is built to trade. And so essentially, because not everyone is built to trade, uh, coming in as a fresh trader, and I just started trading full time in 2023, I was able to, switch to full time here. I don't know if you guys know about my story, but basically, I was, planning on making a full shift to crypto in a couple years. The economy went to garbage, and I was a top performer at my 9 to 5. And despite me, outpacing people with, 10, 15 year experience, despite me being like having, 1 or 2 years of experience in the field, my company decided to let me go. And I was very bearish on the corporate structure from that point forward. I was actually going to do a couple big things for the C-suite execs before I left. And, I just never got the opportunity to really, fully kind of realize my potential with that company. But I quickly realized that, all right, well, I've been kind of like in crypto for about 2 years. I learned a lot, but I didn't want to make the transition then. But in this case, I was kind of forced to make the transition because I was at a point where either I focus full time on crypto, or I have to go and focus full time on another job, so that way I can be that number one performer that can provide value to the company and that can move up. So crypto would have been on the back burner, and I just saw the incredible opportunity. And honestly, CT was the one who convinced me. I did a post, asked the timeline, what should I do? And the support was incredible, to be honest. And I decided to jump into crypto full time. And later on that year, I made some incredible trades. I found Unibot at like $1 million, that whole TG bot ETH utility wave. So yeah, that was like kind of the start of my journey. And it was really hard. Like, I zeroed out my portfolio in 2022. I was rebuilding my network in late 22, early or throughout 2022 and into 2023. I got laid off in the summer, and I decided just take a shot, take a chance. And late summer, early Q3, I hit that huge trade, hit a couple huge trades, and things just kind of rocketed from there. So yeah, man, I mean, I've told myself that success in the space is already written. I just have to go get it, make it happen. They say that your brain, if you visualize something strong enough, you will trick your brain into thinking it's real. And I think I did that on accident, and I didn't realize it. But I saw and visualized success in this space, and I just kind of backtracked from there. I saw, what does success mean? That's the ultimate goal. Okay, well, what leads to that? And I just worked my way back to where I was there, and I just started making steps. And one of those steps involved building a network. So look, if I've been building a network in this space for almost 4 years, man, like, and if I have nothing to show for it right now, like that would be tough. Right? So yeah, for anybody, like when price action isn't that good in this market, when things are really slow, a lot more people are open to conversation. They're more open to getting into conversation with people in the DMs and stuff like that. They're more open to that stuff. So take advantage of these slow times. Reach out to other people in similar communities that you have. Reach out to other people in similar with similar interests as you. And just like Franz did, like in that interview we covered with Franz, that another trader was rugged on the same project. They got together and bang, like they discovered Buddy at 200K before it went to 30 mil. They discovered Dupe at 500K before it went to an all-time high of like 75 mil, right? Like when you start trading with other people, you can get a different view of the market, and that helps you to develop your own edge, get better at your own kind of skill, and identify like where you do the best in the market. So yeah, man. Ave says, I've been in crypto about 2 years and finally starting to make some money. Definitely been a journey. Yeah, man. Look, you got to pay the tuition. You got to pay the tuition. There's no getting around that at all. You got to just, you're going to lose money at first. It's going to be a learning journey. Ideally, what I wanted to do was rebuild the network, rebuild a portfolio, paper trade, and then transition when I felt comfortable. But life circumstances, just kind of put me in the game. And, it was fourth quarter and I needed to perform, and I just did. So I think, those first 2 years, they will teach you a lot about spotting the wrong things, like being in the wrong places. And when you have a familiarity of where those mines, because really crypto is a minefield. So when you have a familiarity of where those mines will be, to avoid that. So when you see things, maybe you got rugged on a project, 6 months ago, a year ago, or when you first came in the space, a dev tries to trick you with the same, worthless kind of approach to a project. You can kind of see through the smoke and mirrors a little bit. And that's really what those first couple of years losing money teaches you. It teaches you to see through the smoke and mirrors that a lot of these teams try to present, and actually focus on things that will actually bring you value. So yeah, man. Love the fact that you had that journey. Honestly, Ave, if you want to come on, I'd love to interview you. And just kind of get a sense of where your, what your journey's been like. So if you want to jump on, let me know. Would love to have you. But yeah, bros. Back to just Fartcoin here. Higher lows, market structure break, hasn't broken the trend yet. All we need to do is break through this bearish OB. But as you can see, this is on the 12-hour. Let's go to the 2-hour on like lower time frames. Let's go to the 1 hour even. Let's erase that. Actually, let me do something real quick. Let me do something just so I can kind of make erase some of this stuff for you guys. Boom, boom. So that way we can see some of this stuff clearly, clean out my charts a little bit. And lastly, let me also erase this. Bang, bang. Let's do boom. Perfect. There we go. Clean chart, clean structure here. All right, cool. So as you can see, like market structure break was the red line. And every time we've come back to this red line, it's been a pretty great place for a long, pretty great place to bid. And it's forming support here. So we had we had the breakthrough here. It broke down, the breakthrough here. And now we're forming support here. We're forming support here, right? Like even here, we're forming some support. So this red market structure break after, rejecting here, after rejecting ultimately here, we even rejected here, and here. Like we're now turning this into support. This was resistance. This was the top of the market structure. But what we're seeing is this top of the market structure finally broke here, and it's been support ever since. So honestly, very bullish on Fartcoin. Not, I'm like, honestly, this bullishness on Fartcoin, it really like, it makes me think that like ETH is about to go crazy, because we see alts are starting to show strength over Bitcoin. So yeah, this is a nice good place here. I might even consider some things, but like I've been bullish on Fartcoin. Like a lot of people make fun of me for that, but I don't see you I don't see you laughing now. So yeah, here we go. Hold on, let's see. Bang. So that's a clean look here. So again, market structure break, establishing support, looking to go higher. But again, very big area of resistance up here, so we have to watch that. I would have loved to gotten involved here below 31 cents. I got an alert for that, but not quite ready to go all the way back down. I think Fartcoin is like, ironically, one of the more stronger tokens on the market. But yeah, one of the more stronger tokens on the market. Real quick, let me just show you guys this, just in case you haven't seen it yet for any of the new viewers. But Fartcoin obviously broke out of the downtrend. Last time we were looking at it, Bitcoin didn't quite break the downtrend, looking to attempt to do that here on the 2-day. ETH finally broke the downtrend, looking actually really good. Looks like it formed a bottom. We talked about that last week. Solana, from what I remember, still in the down channel. But if you guys remember, we talked about this, the lower time frame on this. We saw a nice little SFP form here, and looks like it's still holding here at 130, looking absolutely phenomenal. So that low is still holding. So I'm expecting higher for Solana. But again, overall, still in an overall downtrend. So really the only things that have broken out are ETH. And as you can see here, Fartcoin has broken out. Pump Fund has also broken out, but kind of like not holding the gains. If we look on a lower time frame, like it hasn't broke above that market structure, whereas Fartcoin has, right? Like Fartcoin has breaking above this red market structure line that we have drawn out. Everything else just doesn't really look very pretty. I mean, look at all these charts, bro. Look at all these charts on a higher time frame. Egan, Aster, Hype, Near Protocol breaking the multi-month lows there. Link is actually looking decent, bouncing off a nice little demand zone there. Link is actually pretty decent. Doge, I mean, I was trying to be bullish on Doge, but it doesn't seem like, I mean, look at this. Breaking key lows. I mean, all of these charts, man, none of the charts are looking as good as Fartcoin. And I would say maybe even Pump. I'm also eyeing Met. But yeah, that's pretty much that. A lot of charts not really looking good, but we know one chart that is. And as it stands from a high time frame, like if we're looking at like getting in as a position with size, this is a perfect place to do that. Guys, Surf Cash just 3x while we're on stream, launched at $1 million, or like let's just say 100% move. We talked about it at 1.5. It was at 1.5K, 1.5 mil by the time we looked at it. But yeah, looking solid, looking very good here off the launch. Let's see. What else we got? I think that's pretty much it. We're supposed to already kind of like, cut the stream here. But I saw that a few hundred of you guys joined up. So just wanted to kind of give you guys a preview and just kind of whet your appetite a little bit as far as what we like to do here on MCG. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary, the breakdown on the market. Man, looks like Bitcoin here is looking to make a move to the top side of the channel. I would love it. Confirmation for me would be going back above 100K and like on a high time frame, I'm talking like, you know, closing like a 3-day above the flash crash lows, that would be confirmation of, all right, bet we're back, we're looking good, time to get bullish, time to look for longs, time to get active. But for now, this will be a big area of resistance. So that's the key area I'm watching next. Outside of that, big things happening here going into 2026. So keep your eyes on MCG, man. We're working on a ton in the background. Looking forward to, you know, to sharing what we've been working on. I'm actually about to go pick up my mic here, so the audio experience for you guys is going to get a lot better. We got Dom and Josh. They're also getting like, they also got like new cameras and stuff like that. So viewership experience is about to go through the roof. We're working on a ton of things in the background. So we appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Real quick, I'm also going to plug in the MCG Twitter account. You guys definitely want to follow that. Let me actually share that real quick with you all. Boom. All right, let me share my screen. So you guys definitely want to follow the at MCG Live Twitter account. Dang, look at that, boy. 1.7, almost 2,000 people in the building. We appreciate you guys for joining us. It's been a fantastic show today. We had on Franz, the homie, the trader, who got 120x on Caspa, spotted dupe at 500K before the ascent to 75 mil. He even got a few other trades as well. So we got a nice trader on for you guys. Love that interview. It was absolutely wonderful. We got a sense of the outlook going into 2026 and where we see things and where we and how we see things playing out. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Tomorrow, we may or may not be back with another stream. Usually for all the those who joined us who might not usually be on stream with us, every weekend, typically on a Saturday or Sunday, we come out with the schedule for the upcoming week. So you want to follow the at MCG Live Twitter account, follow us where and we're on the road to 7,000 followers. If you don't know, MCG, the Twitter account, we just started up this account in August. This was kind of like a dead account before, but we started it up and it's just been going crazy ever since. So we're almost at 7,000. We're pushing. And so appreciate you guys for joining us. Follow us on the Microcap Gem Show account, or the at MCG Live account. If you look in our link in bio, we have a few other things that we're working on as well. We'll be trying to stream on TikTok. So you'll be actually be seeing us on TikTok. You can go to the link tree, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, as well as Spotify, where we post all of the content that we discuss on these streams. So that way you can consume it in a way that's best for you. We also have a Chinese channel as well. So go check that out. And then trade on Mobi with the MCG code for discounts and perks. So look, guys, love today's stream. We appreciate the love and support. We got some of the homies. We got some of the homies in Dubai right now at they did Met Dhabi yesterday. They're doing Breakpoint today, or they did Breakpoint today. So they'll be traveling back here over the next couple of days. Over the weekend, we'll lock in a schedule. We're working on some big interviews coming up next week. And then next week, you guys will be able to return and get all the value that you love to see. So appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much. We'll be covering more setups here tomorrow, more setups, more games, more traders, more projects, more alpha, more value for every one of you guys that decide to join us. So hopefully, hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. If not tomorrow, we'll see you guys next week. We appreciate all the love. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Stay safe out there.